One debate to rule them all, one debate to find them, one debate to take them all, and in the darkness show them that the shit stinks and that they fucking suck. Oh, this is Calling It Now. What's up, everybody? Our co-host will be joining momentarily, any moment now, but we're just getting the show up and getting it started so that you and I can find out, can MAGA even defend Donald Trump? Let's make that the smaller black bar. Can MAGA defend Donald Trump? I don't think they can. I think that they are cowards. I am now up to thousands a week of MAGA people trying to dunk on posts I make because they are very, very easy to goad to, let's call it, a rage bait. In fact, I have one post just from the other day that I think is up to like, I don't even know. It was up to like 2,000 people replying, maybe 1,200, somewhere between 1,200 and 2,000. These people, they can't debate. They can't. They just can't. I've got 590 on just MAGA can't debate from 5 days ago. And none of them are here. I don't know. They're not here. And they all say, oh, well, it's because you guys shoot. Guys, I promise if you call in a debate, I won't shoot you. It's such pussy antics. I'm going to say it. Sorry. It's such like whiny, like little bitch antics of, oh, guys, we too can't. Yeah, we can. You made 1 million Charlie Kirks behind the keyboard. I'm not going to leave the keyboard. I'm not going to get rid of this. I'm not going to actually defend live and show that I need to be able to copy paste ChatGPT. I had a guy the other day who was acting like he was debating me on Threads. And he forgot to like get rid of the clear emojis that ChatGPT uses. Cause it'll be like, give me a summary. He was clearly asking like, give me a summary of blah, blah, blah. And it'll put like the pin emoji and things like that. And he's also replying fast with paragraphs of text. And so it's like, bro, come do this for real. Put down your ChatGPT. Okay. Grow a pair and get in here. I really like emasculating the MAGAs. Yeah, I am AI. You're right. Jimmy's a bot. Look at him. I need a Xanax. The fuck are you even talking about? I am now able, it would seem, to consume carbonated mineral water drinks. This one's got a twist of lime in it. Lime is the first fruit I actually have even fucked with since trying to reintroduce foods into my diet. Not that anybody cares about that, but putting lime in like yogurt and stuff. Lime yogurt.
Yum.
The first one I messed with. Lux is here.
It's me. Hello.
Hello. It's me. We were wondering if MAGA's gonna come defend Donnie, but I doubt it. Cause they're babies. They know that he's an asshole, just said to a lady, quiet piggy. I'm adding syllables because I can. You can't stop me.
Spectacular. No, yeah.
Like, what are you going to do about it? That's exactly correct. Hi, Lux. How are you?
We're doing pretty okay. You know, we had a lot of friendly or advice or just informational calls just now. So I'm looking forward to getting to yell at someone today. That feels wonderful.
Hey, MAGA. You know what I have with me? Choo choo. It's a trans.
Ha ha.
Ayo.
I love how that works because I'm also autistic.
I was literally just going to say the same thing. I was literally going to say like, and also an autistic trans.
So true, babes. We're debating MAGA. Come on, get in here. I feel like the MAGA are losing steam a little bit lately, maybe because the direct reality of their food stamps kind of took some wind out of their sails, but hopefully
also, I think they figured out he's either a pedophile or a pedophile protector. MAGA, if you're there, I think the reason you're not calling in is you're like, yeah, Donald Trump. I actually think Donald Trump is careful enough that while I do believe he has probably sexually assaulted children under the age of 18, I doubt there's going to be much evidence of it. There'll be people conversing that it happened or anything, but like direct evidence, I think the big revelations, if we ever get the full files, which we won't be getting soon, like be so clear, be so real. We just voted to release the Epstein files. They're not going to. They're going to release some new stuff. They're going to release some new stuff that's advantageous to them, but they have the provision in there, nothing that could like threaten ongoing investigations. And what just happened? What a coincidence. Oh, what timing. Totally not obvious why they timed it that way. What just happened, Donald Trump commands, as he's not supposed to do, his attorney general, which, by the way, surrounding that information, I have a confession to make today. But his attorney general, he has commanded his attorney general to open an investigation, specifically into Democrats. But he's basically out of the same reason he wasn't in danger the first 4 years. He's now not in danger. They won't he's going to be the most redacted man in history, except for emails that say things coincidentally like, I don't know of Donald Trump ever doing anything, something like that. Maybe we'll find out whether or not the rumors that Epstein and Melania were lovers true. I don't know. We'll find out.
Rough.
Here's the deal. I do have a little confession. As people know, I'm famously atheist. I don't know if I can call myself that anymore, because it seems to me that if you start to believe in Satan, you kind of have to believe in God too, or God of a type. And I found out something this week that's hard to deny the existence of Satan. Let's start here. Luxander, what would you guess is Pam Bondi's age?
I mean, she's in her 40s, right?
Early 40s, late 30s?
Yeah, 45.
Just by look alone? Like, yeah, I give her like, I thought she was kind of from the Stephen Miller ilk of very young Nazis who were just willing to like do whatever. And that they were using the fact that she's young and inexperienced. Pam Bondi is 60 years old. And it seems to me that that is proof Satan exists.
The evil ones live forever.
But she also looks my age. She looks like she is one of my peers, is what's fucking with me.
Am I? No, that's a woman in her 40s at least.
I asked
He does not look like she's in her 30s.
And off the top of his head, he thought late 30s. There are certainly images where she is without makeup, where you can kind of tell a little bit more that she's older.
I'm sorry, the turkey neck. I'm sorry, you can see the turkey neck.
But I mean,
normally I'm not like this about women's appearances, first of all, but
the turkey neck I think is old. I'm pretty sure she got that removed.
Okay.
By Satan. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, of course. You made a deal.
I feel like there's no version of me that you can convince that she is actually 60, naturally 60 years old.
Yeah, she sacrificed a baby or something. Like, that's crazy.
How many kids does she have?
I don't actually know.
How many kids does Pam Bondi have? She does not have any children. So already, like, totally not a conservative, like, in so many ways, not a conservative. Nope. She was married to a guy until 1992 and then another guy till 2007 and has since been in a domestic partnership with someone since 2017. Like, this hateful Nazi woman would be sent to the gulag. Like, she would be in a camp. And this is what drives me crazy. MAGA, if you think you can call and defend MAGA, you think you can call and defend Trump, your number's right there, 33654-32101. Why are you always brave on the keyboard but not on the phone? That's what I want to know. We're here to debate you. You'll get to say your piece and defend it. Also, by the way, for everybody who will be, I guess, excited by such news, Forrest and I will be doing a Cuz I Wanna tomorrow on the line at 6 p.m., further talking about the Epstein files. And then this Saturday, the next LineCon at patreon.com/calltheline, featuring Luxander, Austin Archer, and Seth Andrews, will be happening. And you have to be at the $15 tier or above, and then you automatically get in. That's basically our ticketing system. They will each be giving speeches and then doing a Q&A. Sorry for hitting this with glass. It probably sounded like shit.
Yeah, it did sound like shit, but it's okay. It was quick.
Terrible. What are they talking about? Where are you guys? Well, like, call in and debate. Do it. I had something I was going to share before I said all that.
Well, if you guys are watching right now, you need to hit the like button because that might help get us some callers. Thank you, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Help get it out there. We're ready. We're ready for them to call in. Oh, yeah. I want to read a thread exchange I had because I still have a little bit of paranoia, cancellation paranoia. Now I've been canceled so many times that I just am like, you know what? I'm just going to say what I feel and how I feel it. I'm not going to worry so much. I'll keep not saying the R word online anyway, but it's just a matter of time. With the number of shits that they are doing, the things they are doing, I don't know how to hold it in much longer. And you know what the hardest time not to say it is in describing what they think of their own platform. Like Mike Johnson today, Donald Trump went on Truth Social and said, seditious conspiracy, punishable by death, referring to Democratic lawmakers that he thinks should be put to death for telling the military not to follow illegal orders, only follow the law. He calls that seditious conspiracy, punishable by death. And when Mike Johnson was asked about it, he goes, well, what I saw was him just defining seditious conspiracy and what our law remedies are for it, as though it isn't clear by context what he's referring to. That's what Mike Johnson said. And the hardest thing was to not just cap that post and be like, guys, he thinks you are redacted. That's the hardest time not to use it. Just describing what they think their own, like my base is a bunch of redacts and I can just do whatever. It gets tougher and tougher. Anyway, I had this other person who posted, let me just find it real quick, get past all of these, me trying to rage bait people into calling. MAGA, you're right up there, 336-543-2101. You can call in right now and tell us why we are wrong. I am desperate to find out. I'm desperate to hear why it is we're wrong. I don't think you can come up with why we're wrong. I don't think you have what it takes. I don't think you know why your side is right. I don't think you can support your side being correct. And I don't think you can support the opposition being wrong. In a way, I find your lack of calls a concession. That you are scared. You are scared. All right, where is this? Where is this person? Okay, so this person wrote, this I think was on a different one. They wrote, dear trans people, don't tell me to accept you for what you are when you couldn't even accept yourself for what you were. I wrote, dear Abby, shut the fuck up, you hateful asswipe. But that wasn't the post that I'm like, let me think which one. Oh, can y'all help me get off the libtarded side of threads, please? And this person looks gothy in presentation. They have tattoos, they wear tank tops, all this kind of stuff. The kind of stuff that, so I just pointed out, if the Republicans get the world you are supporting, after they get rid of us, they will discard you as a tattooed whore. The pick me shit has an expiration date.
That's accurate.
I'm just sitting here like, guys, you don't get to be a Republican whore. That's our side. You can be a whore on the left. We embrace you. We love you. Come be my whore. Not mine. I got one. But, and I am one for someone else. Okay. But like, you don't get to be a Republican slut. You're like, basically to be a Republican whore is to go, what I really hope is that one group before me remains as a buffer. Like, I don't know, who's the group they would eliminate right before they get to the whores? Like, what would be before them? Trans people are long gone. Atheists? Illegals are long gone. Atheists are probably already gone by then too. I'm going to say vegans.
Yeah,
as soon as you see they're rounding up vegans, whores, you need to like pack. Okay? You need to be once they get the vegans in the buses, you need to start fucking packing because you are so donezo. And that's who you're supporting. The people who it's like, where you're like, yeah, but I'm far enough down the list that I can enjoy what I think right now is the winning side and get my controversial, like, fucking get the fuck out of here. Be so fucking real. I am on the left because I'm a whore in so many ways.
Dude, this week we were talking, the idea of feet came up and Forrest was like, no, there's no price. And I'm like, there is definitely a price and it's not even that high.
Guys,
and
there's
like
a price
for me,
for everything.
Listen, if I could make like a few $100 a month off of feet pics, I would do that. Except that it would alienate everybody else on my Fansly, but whatever.
Right, I feel like it would take away...
You gotta focus on that.
It would take away also in general. I would have to think, like, when people now are like, for what price would you release a sex tape, Jimmy? And the answer is whatever price doesn't then eliminate my ability to further support myself. And so it would have to offset what I think is the future of my occupation and basically make it so I can just go move into the woods and never talk to people ever again. Wrong. She was born in 1997. Her husband is 32 years older than her, but she's not 60. I honestly expect better information, but you're wrong. Pam Bondi can't have been born in 1997. That would literally make her 28. And she was the Attorney General of Florida who failed to when Casey Anthony was. Nikki, I've seen you post on stuff before, but like, that was a wild, you gotta really fact check things before you say something like so off-putting, so condescending as I honestly expect better information. She literally was and Javon brought this up to me, like imagine putting the woman who failed to get a Casey Anthony conviction as Attorney General. Like Casey Anthony, who practically admitted to doing it. Someone in all caps, who is this female? Yeah, okay, classic. Got it. So Nikki is probably thinking of Caroline Levitt, who is a child.
Okay.
Caroline, I don't know what year.
She's the lady who is the major communicator for the White House, right? Like that's her job?
She is 28 years old. She is a 28-year-old Nazi apologist, and she is the one who, so Nikki, not a big deal. Pam Bondi, look, here's the deal. And by the way, MAGA, where are you? You are all so brave in the keyboard. I just want to talk. I want to hear what you have to say. Why are we wrong? This is the opportunity. You always say we're in an echo chamber. I'm offering you the opportunity to burst my echo chamber, to pop it in deep and break it past it, right? Make my echo chamber bleed because I haven't even ridden horses, okay? 336-543-2101. I know that's a myth, people. Get out of my comment section. Okay. Pam Bondi, no, you're correct. I said already, Pam Bondi is not married. She is culturally appropriating from the gays. She is in a domestic partnership, is what she is in. Yeah, Caroline Levitt, 97. Yep. All right, people, while we wait for these Republicans to call in, feel free to super chat. We'll respond to what the super chats coming in are saying. What was I going to say? There's something else I was going to hone in on. I don't remember what it is now.
You say you don't have ADHD? Is that the claim that you're sticking with?
It's weird that you think that autism isn't capable of that. I'm just thinking about so much more.
I'm just teasing.
But yes, I am. Every month that I do the accounting, I definitely don't have ADHD. Positive.
Because you're capable of hyperfocus, which is an ADHD trait?
No, I don't enjoy doing the accounting.
Oh, okay.
That's the not ADHD trait. I can do for hours at a time activities I don't like.
You find boring actively?
And can stay focused on it despite not liking it. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm fucking tired. I'm going to stop doing this. That's how it always comes out. I'm like, I'm so tired. I don't want to keep doing this.
You know what an ADHD person has never said? Yeah, but I have to do it, so it's fine. Not once. I have to do it, and I want to fucking eat my own body, but I'll do it. And it's never just like, look, I gotta. So it is what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
It's life ending. Yeah, I said it. So you can say whatever you want, but I don't have ADHD. I think Forrest might, though. That makes sense.
That would make sense. I would agree with that.
And where people can have both, ADHD is, they like to say it.
Me.
I am saying that I have been assessed, despite the fact that it already seemed obvious, that specifically there are defining traits of attention deficits that I lack.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I've been independently diagnosed like 3 different times with ADHD. So I've never bothered to get assessed for autism. I'm like, I don't really think I need anything that the diagnosis would get me. It's like not like I'm trying to get coverage for healthcare or something. So there's no reason to do that except have another thing that they can put in their file on me.
I just threw a poll in there. MAGA, are you here? I want to know who's there in the chat. And then I want to know where you guys are. Chat is better than at assessing than a psychologist, Jimmy. Duh. The way in which that you almost need to clarify that that's a joke.
Yeah, that's
even
a
with
for
the
sure.
duh is I know I feel like you are joking, but you should know, bookish. You should know.
Somebody needs to call 336-543-2101. That's the number. Get in here. Listen, I'm a trans.
so easy
We
to
can talk
dial.
about that. I had a great abortion argument recently when I was on with Matt on the hang up. And so I'm like wanting to cut my chops on that again. It's fun. Like on the Transatlantic show, we get stuck on just the trans topic, which is fun, and I'm really good at arguing about trans issues, but it's nice to get to talk to people about other shit. So therefore, we will yell at you about literally any political topic on this show. Get in here.
5% of you are MAGA and none of you have the balls to call? None of you? Where them balls at? They in your trad wife's purse?
They're on their truck.
Yeah. Get your wife to call. I don't know if we've had a MAGA woman yet. No, I guess we have. We've not had a staunch MAGA woman. We've had the like the one person who was like, you silly Billy. You couldn't make me cry, you silly goose.
We talked to a black woman one time who said that she was MAGA. She seemed really
She wasn't by the
receptive
end.
Yeah, she seemed really receptive to changing on that position. So I don't know how married to it she was in the first place.
That was one of those calls that get people believing we pay for our callers. And yet, here we are 20 minutes in and we have, I think we've got a call finally screening. So we're going to find out. Yeah, exactly. Fuzzy Logic says 1,000,000 Charlie Kirks my ass. We are all Charlie Kirk. You just made 1,000,000 Charlie Kirks at the keyboard. Charlie keyboards. Charlie Kirk boards. Let me know my cork bird. I should release a Charlie Kirk board, and I should make those 5 letters a little bit more like, hey, don't worry, we put an extra coating on those 5 letters so they won't wear off as quick for you. You know which 5 letters they're hitting a lot.
No. Yeah. No, I got it.
You've never seen the meme with the MAGA keyboard and you can see that these 5 letters are worn off?
Only a ginger can call another ginger.
Only a ginger can call another ginger.
Thank you for picking up what I'm putting down.
You're welcome. Luckily, I'd seen it. God's Sinner says, y'all, hopefully I don't go to grippy sock jail tomorrow as I'm looking forward to show tomorrow from Caracal. What is grippy sock jail?
It's when you are committed.
Oh, the committed place. Yeah, well, look, there's something to live for. I'm just saying. There's a show, and then live for LineCon the next day, and then live for the Sunday show. Live your life day to day knowing that you want to see the next thing that's on the line. Mm-hmm. This puts a lot of pressure on me to never take a day off. So maybe
the most
we
ever take off
shows?
is 2 days, so lots of weekend shows, yeah.
Yeah. We got to maybe catch up on your other shows there. I don't know what to do to engage with, like, my way of engaging with suicidality is only humor. Been there. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm now too cynical to be suicidal. Is that weird? I think I'm too depressed to be suicidal.
I don't know. What's the point of killing myself? Is that weird? What's the point of killing myself? God.
I think it weirdly loops around.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to want to die a lot, and now I'm like, I am gonna get health insurance for the first time.
Yeah.
So all right. My perspective on that has changed.
Matt from California apparently will not share pronouns. Fine, Matt. We'll call you whatever we like, I suppose. Matt from California, you're on the line with Luxander and Jimmy.
I shared my pronouns, but the lady was kind of being rude. She didn't want to respect my pronouns.
What are your pronouns?
Your Majesty.
Those aren't pronouns.
Mm-hmm. Why not?
Because the pronouns are a certain thing and they are not. What's the definition of a pronoun?
Well, I thought it's just what I identify as.
Nope, you were wrong.
Go back to 3rd grade, bro.
Okay, so what's the definition?
They are placement words. They need to be single syllable. They should be very short. And there's basically a group you can choose from. If you need a new neo pronoun, you can go join that whole mess. Look, neos, I love you and all, but it's getting crazy. No, I'm just kidding. No one's asked me for a neo pronoun in probably fucking 5 years. So anyway, your choices are pretty much he, she, they. There are some it's these days. There are those are what you have to choose from. They should be for saving time. Your name is literally Matt. So how would a 3-syllable Your Majesty be a pronoun?
I identify as majestic.
Great. So could you answer my question? How would that be a pronoun?
So, according to you guys, what is a pronoun?
No. It's not according to me. It's what it is.
Okay. So I guess.
So would you like the menu to pick from again?
I guess my would be my pronoun. I guess my. Does that make sense?
My can't be your third person. How would other people refer to you, Matt? Matt, I get it. You're MAGA. Okay. How's the it's tough for you to follow like these simple concepts here.
No, I'm just an individual who identifies as majestic, and I'm trying to understand your guys' perspective. And I didn't understand why you guys weren't very, very respectful to my pronouns that I request to be called.
Those aren't pronouns.
How about, I have an idea for you. If you identify as majestic, why don't you use the pronouns glam and glam self? Because that's actually serving the utility of providing a shorter term for your name.
That work for you, Matt? You want to be called glam? Yeah, those are super gay-ass pronouns, but we'll make your pronouns glam if you want. I think it makes you gay, but you can be glam.
It sounds like you guys like to use profanity.
Do you not like profanity? I fucking love profanity.
Okay. I mean, I think it kind of makes you sound less intelligent.
That's interesting. Did you know there's actually a study that shows intelligent people are more likely to use profanity?
There's actually a study that shows a lot of studies are bought and paid for.
Oh, that's fun.
Sure.
What's the name of that study?
There's numerous studies that have shown that.
Great, cite one.
Okay. Give me a second.
Oh, you have to Google it because you made it up?
No,
I don't even doubt it. Of course there are studies bought and paid for.
I know how politics are involved in science. It's not science, it's politics.
So are all studies invalid? Are all studies invalid because some studies are bought and paid for?
Not at all.
Great.
But when there's a substantial amount of money in the industry, then there's a high likelihood.
So Gay Matt is calling. Gay Matt is calling, and she would like to talk about what?
So are you like trying to insult me?
No. You've been leaving things open. You've been making a joke of things. Okay, so I'm not
gay. I'm not gay, and I'm not identifying as a woman. I identify as Your Majesty.
Okay, well, so Gay Matt is calling, and she would like to talk about what? If you don't have to engage it seriously, why would I engage it seriously?
It seems like Matt, you guys like to converse with profanity and disrespect and insult people.
You think that you didn't come in here with disrespect? Do you think that what you're doing is not disrespectful? We are not stupid. We can see what you're doing, and that's why we're being rude to you, because you started out this conversation by being rude in bad faith. And you're too stupid to realize that, maybe? I don't know. Are you too stupid to realize that you're being rude right now?
Well, I don't know. Have I insulted you guys? I mean, you guys have insulted me a lot.
Insulting is not the same as being rude. You started by being rude.
Can you describe how I can describe how you're being rude. Matt, can you describe how I'm being rude?
Yes, you're very clearly making a joke of trans issues, and the Your Majesty thing is very obviously a meme. By the way, being insulted is a state of mind of the recipient. Hey, Matt. Matt, being insulted is a state of mind of the recipient. So what you are basically saying is you're sensitive and triggered, but we're not sensitive and triggered. So I'm very sorry that you are so triggered.
You're a person of virtue, and it's very clear to everybody listening that you're not.
Is that what you think? Maybe I'm just not a person of your virtues.
Okay, well, I mean, profanity and insults is not a virtue. So
Cry more.
What you did was insulting. You just failed to insult me because I don't.
It's like truth, and you guys don't want to acknowledge what truth
cry
is.
more. Cry more about how rude we are. Cry.
Matt, I can literally hear that you're crying right now. Do you need a second?
When? Yeah, I am going to cry about when.
Yeah, I hear you crying. You're very sensitive. So anyway, do you have an actual political point to make, Gay Matt?
No, I just want you guys to examine your guys' agenda and understand the position of your guys' intention. Obviously, it's to insult. I mean, I haven't done anything wrong. I haven't done anything insulting to you.
You sure about that?
Okay, sure.
Can you describe it? I mean, how was I rude? Yeah. Can you describe that?
Sure. Here's how I do it. All of MAGA, they're just a bunch of Nazis. I'm going to group in with a caricature.
I never said anything about MAGA. You guys projected MAGA on me 5 times.
Matt, you already told the screener you were MAGA.
I said I'm an individual.
You said MAGA, a MAGA individual.
I said it. I never said that. I said majestic.
How old are you, Matt?
Majestic.
How old are you?
Majestic.
How old are you, Matt?
Why do you want to know?
It's my show. You can either participate in the way we do these things or you can go fuck off. I don't give a shit. I don't need you, Matt. Do you want to participate? There's a point to the show. You don't need
to examine your virtue. You can just talk like you're a virtue and do all the virtue signaling you want. I don't care.
So you are afraid, Matt, of having an actual political discussion? Hey, Matt, so you are actually afraid of having a good faith, honest political discussion?
You guys are running away from the issue. You guys are changing the goalpost.
Hey, Matt, how old are you?
You're changing the goalpost.
You don't know what that phrase means. Matt, how old are you?
Yeah, I made a point, and you're trying to change the point.
And I don't care about your point, Matt. You aren't engaging in good faith. You're pretending your majesty is a gender identity and simultaneously pronouns because you don't understand those words. So now I'm going to get on with the show as it actually exists.
How does my identity have anything to do with my gender?
Matt, we're going to move on either to the actual conversation or you can fuck all the way off into the sun and continue protecting pedophiles like the president.
Okay, I mean,
Matt, how old are you?
If that's your agenda, go for it.
Matt, how old are you?
How old are you?
35. How old are you?
Well, I'm not going to tell you how old I am.
Why'd you ask that you just wanted to even it out? So Matt is a 16-year-old.
No, I want to ask why you guys don't have virtue and you're trying to pretend like you do. No,
actually, we'll say 18.
Did I claim to have virtue?
So Matt is an 18-year-old cat boy who dresses up on the weekends and eats his actual own shit. His pronouns are poop and doop. All right, Matt, you ready to get on to the actual conversation?
If that makes you feel good, then that really says a lot about you.
Matt, you've made it very, very clear that you are unwilling to have the actual political discussion and you just want to whine. All you are here to do is whine about how your feelings are hurt. All you're here to do is whine about how your feelings are hurt, so I have no interest in having this conversation. Goodbye, Matt. Sorry you couldn't handle it. Call back if you grow a pair and can actually talk turkey. George in Missouri, who I believe will actually talk about his actual beliefs and not just try and caricaturize the beliefs of others that he doesn't understand. George in Missouri has offered no pronouns. George, I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that you're hoping people will call you he, him when referring to you in the chat, since George is in fact not even a male name. Exclusively, there are Lady Georges. Is that correct? We good to have our chat refer to you as he, him when they're talking?
Yes, that's correct, sir.
Great.
I don't have no pronouns.
Well, you have he, him. That would be the pronouns, and you actually also just use the pronoun I. Anyway, let's not get distracted. We've got it. You're he, him. Everything's good. We can move on. let's see. It says Trump is trying to clean up the border mess Biden left and the tariffs are working. So I'm curious, George, why did Donald Trump stop the most conservative bill ever from being signed when it was written by and in conjunction with one of the most conservative members of Congress? People in Congress were all on the right talking about supporting it. Then Donald Trump had Mike Johnson down to Mar-a-Lago, told him to kill the bill, killed the bill, and now the bills that they have offered to replace it with are actually less conservative than the bill Biden
Which bill are you talking about? The big beautiful bill that we killed NPR and all that, or which bill are you talking about?
Why would I be talking about the big beautiful bill when I just said Biden's bill?
Oh, which Biden bill?
Are you aware of the Biden immigration bill at all?
Oh, he did not do a good job. You cannot let what was it, 20 million people in this country unvetted. No, even during COVID, they didn't get COVID shots or none. He just let them all in.
All right, so George, I'm going to try this again.
Just
Are you aware of the Biden's immigration bill? And it was the one that Donald Trump blocked from happening before he was president by having Mike Johnson block it.
Well, yes.
What was that
block
bill?
it. That bill just didn't do anything, though, did it?
Actually, it did a lot.
What
and again,
did
it
do?
wasn't written. And again, it was written by a Republican, an independent.
Hold on.
No, George.
What did it do? Toward the very
I'm answering
end,
your question, George. George.
Okay.
I'm answering your
I'll
question.
Be respectful.
It was called the Border Act of 2024. It was bipartisan. It was created by one of the most conservative members of Congress. It gave the president emergency authority, meaning he could actually close the border anytime needed to with a very low threshold of crossings. Didn't even have to be illegal crossings, just crossings. A lower threshold, actually, that Trump technically legally possesses. Now, he often breaks the law and does it anyway. Increased funding for the border by $20 billion, provided additional pathways for people who were here legally so we could get through a lot of the legal backlog. It made the asylum screening process much stricter, and it expanded immigration detention capacities, meaning that less people were going to be released and expected to come back. In fact, if you are a conservative, this bill was your dream bill. And as was assessed back then, if it didn't pass under Biden, it was never going to get an opportunity because Biden also felt like there was a crisis at the border and also wanted to use conservative means to solve them. Now, Biden did get illegal border crossings down to below the levels that Trump had, his average level crossing in his first term by the end. But earlier than that, it had gone higher. If you are a conservative, by the way, this is what I mean by you would like it. I hated that bill and I'm very glad it didn't pass. But you're sitting here saying as a conservative, you like that Trump is doing this when Trump actually, to your standard, made it worse by blocking that bill.
Okay, could I ask you a question?
Yes, you may.
How many people are crossing the border now compared to when Biden was in power?
Oh, almost certainly lower. With all of the illegal shit we're doing, including acts of war, for sure it's down.
And may I ask you another question? Why Texas was putting up razor wire and Biden ordered them to tear it down?
Because razor wire is inhumane and a disgusting thing we've done in my state. I live in Texas. Because it is terrible that people are trying to cross, whether they're coming here illegally or legally, trying to kill them, maim them, and damage them. Trying to come to America illegally is not such a terrible crime that you should be at risk of being maimed, of being killed, of being weakened to the point of drowning. That's why it's disgusting.
I just want to insert here really quick. You have to hold on really quick, George. I just want to provide some information here to give context. In order to apply for asylum in the United States, you have to be on American soil. So you actually do have to be in the country to start that process, which means that we need more access points at the border and not fewer.
That is not true. A lot
Yes,
of
it
them
is.
came
Yeah,
from
literally
other
it is.
countries. And the first country you get to that you're out of harm's way, you're supposed to seek asylum.
Okay, so if they're coming from
Not
Mexico, but also I don't think that is the
Well,
rule.
that
I think
is
it's like
true.
you have to be on
That is
American
true.
soil to start the process.
Yeah, George, you aren't
That is
correct. And going the
true.
first country isn't necessarily the country that you're going to feel safe in. If you are down in a Central
Oh.
American country, going to another Central American country that may have deep systems of the same cartels or people you are afraid of would not be where you would seek asylum. So you're not saying that what Lux said was wrong. You're trying to say if you left Guatemala, you should only be seeking asylum from a country that borders Guatemala. Okay, that's your opinion. It's not a good one, but it doesn't make what Lux said true, which is that you need to be on American soil to seek American asylum.
No, you can seek asylum right there at the border, crossing legally. You do not have to cross illegally to seek asylum.
You have to get in America one way or another. And if there is a ginormous
You could
backlog where it
cross
isn't
the
convenient to
border.
go one way, you sitting there and going, why are you okay with the razor wire? Which wasn't stopping drug trafficking. Drug trafficking doesn't happen that way. They don't cross the rivers. Most drug trafficking happens through the legal ways of coming into the country. It's not stopping murderers. It's mostly stopping families. And it did. It killed families. The families
No,
drowned.
it was
Like, why
stopping
are you
people.
okay with razor wire in the water?
Because, yes, I'm very okay with stopping the traffic. We cannot support this many people. Do you know how much money we're
So
spending
you would kill
on
them?
illegal
Wait.
people?
So you would kill them
was muted.
to stop them from trying to come?
Yeah.
Well, George,
Yeah,
you're
you
a
try to
fucking
get-
sociopath.
You would kill
I'm
children
not.
with razor wire, bleeding them to death slowly, torturing them to death, children and families, moms pregnant with babies.
Well, look, you cannot support this many people. You got to stop them somehow. And you
First of
don't
all, yes,
just
we
tell
can,
them,
George.
No,
George,
not to
we
kill."
have a ton of room. We have a
Our
ton of
economy
room and a
is so
ton of
much better
jobs.
when we have immigrants.
Right. Literally, we run not only off of that. Your boy Elon Musk is worried that we're not bringing enough immigrants over right now, that it's been too much. Like, that's your guys' guy saying, like, we actually need to now increase immigration. It's getting bad. Our industries absolutely rely on immigration. Unfortunately, they even rely on illegal immigration. And so the answer isn't kill them. The answer is make it much
Hold on,
easier
hold
to
on.
work here
Are
and
you a
be here
Christian,
legally.
George? Are you a Christian?
How would you feel?
George, are you a
if
Christian?
I believe in the Lord, but I'm not really. No, I'm not. Religion
Are you
is
pro-life?
beyond me because
What are your
believe in the New
opinions on
Testament.
abortion?
religions have killed too
pro-life?
many people. In some cases, yes.
Would
Okay,
you
so
ever
you're
let a person
pro-life
get an
person who wants to
abortion?
kill children?
Look, I believe that sometimes kids make stupid mistakes, and the kid cannot support that. And if they have
And
to
they
have
should
an
die in the
abortion,
Rio Grande.
they can have that.
So if a kid
Okay.
makes a mistake, they have it early enough, they can have the abortion. Now, what if a kid makes the mistake of following their parents from Mexico to America? They should die in the river? Because that's what you've so far said you support.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if they cross the border knowing they're not supposed to, that's a
Children.
stupid.
Great.
That's
Great.
stupid.
Great. So they made a mistake. They committed a crime in your eyes by crossing the border when they're not supposed to. Do you have a car, George?
Yeah.
If you speed, is it okay for a cop to not even try to pull you over, but to kill you for speeding? We
Why
can't
would they
handle
kill
all
me
these
for speeding?
speeders.
That is stupid.
Why would you kill somebody for walking into your country? This is the point.
Because
This
they're
is the
doing
MAGA.
it illegally.
George,
They're doing
George,
it
speeding is
misdemeanor, dude.
illegal. Speeding
It's
is
a
illegal.
misdemeanor.
Speeding
Okay,
is
my
illegal,
stepdad
George.
is
So if
illegal.
just because it's illegal, you deserve to die. If the next time you speed, George, I hope you kill yourself or the police kill you, because that's the remedy. They did it illegal. You did it illegally. Therefore, you deserve to die.
There is
George,
a
what's
difference
worse?
between that.
Go ahead. What's the
Okay,
difference?
Look, my dad, my stepdad, is here, and he's not a U.S. citizen. Okay,
Great.
He came from Hungary or somewhere like that. I don't even know. But he
thunderstorm.
can't vote because he's a non-citizen. But he went through the court system and got a permanent residency.
Cool.
So he can be here legally.
Great. And I don't believe if he hadn't done that,
legally.
he would deserve to die, George. Everything you just described is not why they deserve to die. George, do you support the death penalty in America?
If they don't cross illegally,
George,
they will not die.
It's a misdemeanor,
if
George.
They do not. Okay, I'll listen.
George, do you
it's a
support
misdemeanor. Do you know what a misdemeanor is?
Huh?
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Do you support the death penalty?
In certain cases, yes.
Great. What cases? Should murderers be put to death?
If you murder more than one or two people, yes.
Okay, so you got to pass for one or two, but then it's okay. Who else? What is the least offensive offense you believe deserves a death penalty?
Oh, you'd have to really murder somebody intentionally.
Okay, so only murderers. Is there anyone besides murderers you would put to death?
No.
Great. So to be clear, you believe that in America, only murderers should be put to death. But if you're not from America, it's okay for you to die if you're trying to cross the border illegally, without approval.
Am I going to kill them? No, but
you're going to let them die.
Here.
They do belong here, George. George, are you a citizen of America?
If they decide, hold on, if they decide to come here illegally and don't do it legally like everybody else.
It's not illegal to enter the country to apply for asylum. You have to be on U.S. soil, and it's a fucking misdemeanor. You just said that a person who has committed multiple murders is the only person we should put on death penalty. And like a misdemeanor is a tiny crime. A misdemeanor is like, oh, you stole $5. Like, it's not a put people to death situation. It's not even a pull guns out at people situation. It is a criminal offense, but it's a misdemeanor. And you are advocating that those people should die rather than be afforded the opportunity to ask. And also, you keep saying, oh, this argument about people like, oh, do it the legitimate way. Well, guess what? ICE has been, oh God, what is the word? They've been like surprising people who are showing up immigration court.
Well, how would you feel?
Kidnapping them and putting them in concentration camps and disappearing them and like trafficking them to another country. We're trying to do it legally. They're going to their court date. They're meeting with their lawyers.
Legal person? Right.
Go ahead, George.
How would
what are you saying? How would you feel?
How would you feel if you was a person that spent all your money, you did everything
Did you
the
just
right
not hear
way,
anything I just said?
Correct. He wasn't listening. Hey,
cool.
George, I already know the answer to your question. I wouldn't feel like killing them. So, George, what did you do to deserve to be in America?
Killing them. Hold on.
Hey,
That's
George,
not my argument.
Yeah. It was your argument. George, what did you do to deserve being in America?
I was just born here.
Great. So you did nothing to deserve to be here, but you believe it may be punishable up to death if other people put a lot more effort to try and be here than you did. Frankly, deport you and get those people in here. The people who are willing to work and try and like literally risk their lives. And you guys weirdly seem to think that they want to risk their lives to that level to live off the government. They're willing to work, and you've done nothing to deserve to be here, George. Why do you deserve to be here more than them?
You know what I did for a living for years? For years.
It wouldn't matter because, as you already said, the thing you did to earn
substations. Do you know
George,
how dangerous it is to build substations and working on live substations?
George, guess what? Guess what, George?
What?
If you had never built a single substation, you would still have just as much right to be here for having done nothing to earn it. Whether you built those substations or not affects not at all whether or not you have a right under our laws to be here.
What I'm saying is, how do you think everybody else feels that spent their money, spent their time to get here legally, and now these guys come in illegally? They're getting free food, free housing. They're bankrupting the system. How do you feel about that?
Except for the things that you just described isn't how it works when they come here illegally. You're talking about asylum seekers. So they aren't here illegally. Asylum seekers are not here illegally. So the people you're saying getting money and food, in fact, no, George, you're not going to interrupt me. I'll let you finish your question. In fact, George, illegal immigrants are here working, and because they use TINs and borrowed social security numbers, they actually put more taxes into the system than the system pays out to support their communities. Whereas you as a citizen will draw a lot more of taxpayer support. They take none while paying taxes. So in fact, the reason why we need to make them legal is so we can stop exploiting them, which is what we are currently doing.
Okay, explain to me why all those cities that are sanctuary cities are broke for paying for all their medical, their food.
Sure, George, I'll explain that to you right now. I'll explain that to you right now, George, because what you just said is a lie. In fact, the sanctuary cities and the big blue cities are paying for cities in Missouri because these blue cities actually pay more taxes. No, they are not. These blue cities pay more taxes federally than they take, whereas red states disproportionately take more federal tax money than they pay in. So the reason they're broke is that they're not. That's just some shit you heard on Fox News and believed.
It's true. They're running a deficit. You look it up.
The entire country's running a deficit. You said they were broke because of the immigrants, and they are not.
They pay so much money in taxes.
When you spend 1 point some million or $1 billion on immigrants in one city, you're going to get broke.
It is a tiny, that is an extremely tiny part of these cities, where these cities' tax money is going. And in fact, where they're actually losing money is on billionaire loopholes, corporate tax loopholes, and giant corporations coming in and them actually paying billions of dollars in tax benefits to try and get someone like Amazon into their town and then fucking up the economy of that area. So your whole thing, George, is again, just assertions based on what you heard on Fox News. By the way, why are all these MAGA people calling and then hanging up? Phone number's right there. You guys can't figure this out? 33654-32101. Surely somebody can do better than George. No, I'm not talking about you. If you were listening, you would have heard who I was addressing, George.
Up a fact for me.
Great. Let's do it.
Who pays the most taxes? The 1% pays something like 43 or 45% of the most taxes.
What percentage of all of the money, excuse me, George, what percentage of the money do rich people possess in the U.S.?
Well, a shitload.
Right. So you're literally describing the reason why the rich are paying a high proportion of the taxes is because they make so much more than everybody else combined. They have the biggest pool of money. And even then, they still pay a lower effective tax rate than literally middle class people. So you're sitting there going like, hey, this guy who has no money paid $100 in taxes, and this guy who has $1 billion paid $200 in taxes. So he paid twice as much, even though by percent, it's literally true.
No, it's not. Because
your whole argument is just nuh-uh.
Argue
Have you ever looked into these things, or do you just believe what Fox News tells you?
When she was raising her 4 kids, right? Mm-hmm. She not only paid in less taxes, but she got taxes back. Okay? More than she paid in.
That's what happens when you're poor.
That's a wonderful anecdote. Yes, poor people. We're talking about the middle class. The billionaire effective tax rate is around 8% once you adjust for everything, whereas the middle class ends up around 15%. So by percentage, the middle class are paying roughly double. The middle class by percentage is paying double than the billionaires who have a disproportionately high amount of wealth, which they hoard. The effective tax rate for billionaires should literally be above 90% at minimum. It should take you out of being a billionaire. You should not be allowed to
You couldn't
hoard.
afford to run this country if you did that. If you taxed them, they would quit. They would. You couldn't afford to run
really?
this.
Really? Wait. So if
wait a minute.
No, you wait a minute, George. You're saying they would quit because a billionaire who has hundreds of $1 billion would now have a mere $1 billion, which, by the way, tax rates only go ineffective once you hit a certain point of income. They're going to what? Abandon all of their Walmarts and just let somebody else take all of that money? The building's already there. The people are already there. The infrastructure's already there. They're rich because we have the consumers. They'd still be rich after. And by the way, during the most economic lucrative parts of this country's history, that was the effective tax rate on super rich people. Once you make past X number of dollars, call it 100 million, call it whatever, you get taxed at 90% because no person needs $1 billion, George.
If you go back in history, way back in history, tariffs was the only way we had any money. Okay? That's way back in history, though. But you figure this, okay? And I enjoy talking to you, by the way.
I wish I could share the sentiment. I wish I could say the same thing, but whenever a person just comes in and repeats rumors they've heard on the internet, I don't find myself tremendously enjoying myself.
Well, I kind of like the debate.
You have just raped that word by calling this a debate.
Well, what is it if it's not a debate?
That's a great question.
But anyhow, I'm enjoying it anyhow. Anyhow, if they decide to pull their money out or just quit, I got enough money. I don't need to hire people. I don't need all these businesses. I don't need this that I pay all these taxes on and just quit. Where the hell is all the money going to go? They pay
everybody fucking else, dude.
40.
Are you serious?
And if I had a pet monkey, I would buy a yellow hat, but you're literally making up hypotheticals that we are not threatened by, even if you made a fair tax rate. And you're basically saying we can't tax them and get rid of poverty and take care of people because then they'll leave. The Walmarts will still be here. The infrastructure will still be here, but they won't be here to disproportionately pay themselves magnitudes of thousands to hundreds of thousands times more than the laborers who are generating that income for them. Like, great,
who do you
throw them in the fucking sea.
All those people. Who do you think's paying all those people?
George, it's interesting you bring that up because a lot of times, because they don't pay them enough, we have to subsidize their wages. So literally you and me are paying Walmart wages. Not to mention giant companies take government subsidies. So we are funding them taking bonuses and personal income, often larger than the money they took from the government, meaning they could have afforded it. And the biggest welfare recipients are not poor people, George. It's rich people. They take government money they don't need to have taken. And we literally bail them out when they fuck it up.
Okay. How many poor people gave you a job? If you had to go out
I'm self-employed, George. I'm self-employed. So the answer is one, because I was poor. Excuse me, George. The answer is one, because I started working for myself when I was poor.
That. When you were what?
The answer is one, because when I was poor, I started working for myself.
I thought you said four. Never mind.
Yeah, that's what happens when you interrupt and talk over people. It's hard to get a word out.
At least if I was four, we would be more like peers.
But anyhow, I always worked for companies, big companies. You know, So
good for you, George.
they were rich.
Great. And they were and they almost certainly didn't pay you enough or pay other people enough. They almost certainly exploited their laborers and took disproportionate amounts and took money that should have been going to the people who actually built the company. But George, now we're talking about, capitalism versus what form of capitalism versus socialism and everything else. When you're here to say he was trying to clean up a border mess, Biden's immigration was down to Trump numbers when he left office. There are reasons why they surged. He was already doing it. I'm pro open border. Make it very easy for people to come and go. I'm actually pro open border. None of you people even know what open border means. You just make it up. You've also brought up tariffs. It says you told the screener the tariffs are working. We know that's not true. Unilateral tariffs is economy 101. When you take an economy class, they're like, you do not do unilateral tariffing. You use tariffs specifically as a control against if a foreign government tries to flood, say, your egg market with their eggs and thereby ruining your farmer's ability to produce eggs. You do that. But if you if you have a deficit of eggs, you don't want a tariff, because that makes them go and make deals with other countries who will buy them at the normal price and not have to worry about it. And that's literally what has happened. A lot of our trade partners are now making deals with other people independent of us, and we're getting cut out of it. Companies are shutting down. In fact, the people you're here simping for, the giant companies, are the only ones able to afford to stick around, and they're loving it, because once Trump leaves and the tariff goes, Trump will have put out of business basically all of their small business competitors. So then we'll just live in a super oligarchy. And that's what you're advocating for, George. It's disgusting.
No, you don't understand. Okay, if they're tariffing us 200 and something to buy our eggs in Canada, why don't we tariff some of their stuff? I mean, he's just trying to make deals.
George, you already just broadcasted your argument totally dishonestly. You said they're doing 200% of our eggs. Why don't we do some of their stuff? If they are doing things that will affect our local markets, we should tariff. Everyone has. That's not abnormal. What does the word unilateral mean, George?
It means we do it unilaterally, equally.
Yes, definitions often contain the words across the board. They are putting tariffs on. So if we have a fragile egg market, that if they flood with their eggs, we should put up a tariff to stop them from flooding with their eggs, because it'll put our egg guys out of business. That's why they do it on their side, because their market exists as such, and America could destabilize their economy by flooding them with our excess eggs. So they tariff to control the limits of how much that happens. If there is something like that in reverse, which by the way, there isn't really, because we are a consumerist economy. So we always need more than we actually produce at home. So almost across the board, there is very little that we should be tariffing imports on. Soybeans would be like one of the few. Okay, there's very little that is the case, where we need to protect ourselves from having too many imports, because as a consumerist economy, as a rich consumerist economy, we always need more than we have, or want at the very least. We buy more than we have. So adding tariffs puts an undue market pressure on poor and middle class people, while rich people get richer because they pass those costs along to the people who need them. And it's no longer a matter of people buy stuff just when they want it. So it doesn't work to do unilaterally, George. This is very basic economy stuff. In fact, it is considered one of the things you do if you want to destroy your economy. Now, there's a lot of reasons why Donald Trump, the billionaire who is benefiting and doubling and it's going to go beyond that, doubling his net worth on crypto, there are actually reasons why Donald Trump might want to destroy the economy, because he will end up benefiting for it. I don't know that that's why he's doing it, but it is what he's doing.
I disagree. Just simply because we need...
You don't understand anything.
We feed almost all of most of the world. But if they buy it cheaper than anything we buy, is more expensive. Why is that? Why they tariff our shit more than we tariff theirs?
All right, George, make your last point, because I just explained it to you. I brought it down to child level, and you just showed you didn't listen. And George, I'm actually going to be honest. Based on the progression of your of the slurring of your voice, I'm betting you called in drunk. So George, you go ahead and make your last point. We're gonna move on.
Okay, thank you for taking my call.
Next time, call sober. Goodbye, George.
Bye.
Making me wish I wasn't sober, damn.
Yeah, he didn't even challenge it.
Like, in fact, I
Emerson
am
in Kentucky. Emerson in Kentucky.
Hello.
It says here that
Hello.
you didn't vote. Yeah, hello, Emerson. It says you didn't vote in the last election, but you agree with Trump on his harshest border policies. Why didn't you vote in the last election?
I'm disenfranchised. I feel like voting doesn't matter anymore. And so I guess you could say I just kind of gave up.
So did you have a person you wished would win? You just didn't bother going and participating between Harris and Trump?
I guess, honestly, man, no, I really didn't have a pony in the race. I guess I just wanted to, I don't know if I wanted to see what would happen. I didn't want to see, I wanted a Republican to win. I just kind of wish it wasn't Trump, because despite my conservative upbringing, I kind of think he's an idiot. Well, I know he's an idiot. He's probably also a pedophile, but a lot of conservatives won't meet me eye to eye on that one.
So if they'd come to you personally, Emerson, and said, you know what, you pick the president. There was a perfect tie. We found out you didn't cast your vote. So whoever you pick is the president between Harris and Trump.
So I guess knowing what we know now, I probably would have gone Harris, but knowing what we knew back then, I guess I probably would have still gone Trump out of maybe some spite and anger.
Yeah. The disappointing
if I'm being perfectly honest.
That's a little bit nice in that a lot of people have still said Trump. The hearing like what we know now, I actually don't think we know more now. In fact, I think I was telling people this time last year, or the election would have been around this time last year.
All of these things were going to happen.
2 years ago, right? Literally, the things that have happened will happen. That Donald Trump is on the Epstein list. That the tariff thing is going to go the way that it then went. So it's tough, man. Like Emerson, information got to you when it got to you, but it's really frustrating how often people call and it's like, well, I didn't know it was going to go this way. And it's like, yeah, if only we had told you. And we did.
Yeah, I don't think it was so much as that, like, I wasn't being told. I just don't think I was actively looking at information at the time.
It's a bummer. A lot of consequences to that.
Yeah, but I that's not why I called in. I'm sure we don't want to just,
Sure.
We want to get in the
So
meat
how
and
old are
potatoes,
you, Emerson?
Right? I will say I'm in my late 20s, if that's all right.
And you voted for Trump against
in 2016.
Biden or no? In 16? What about 20?
Yeah, against Biden.
Did you vote in 16 as well?
Yeah, 16. And in 16, I voted against Biden for Trump.
No, 16 was Hillary.
Honestly, I thought it was kind of.
Did you vote Trump against Hillary?
Sorry. Yeah, I voted against Hillary for Trump, and the vote against Biden, I actually voted for Kanye before he went crazy. Well, because I thought it was funny.
He was already crazy, but I can appreciate.
He did make graduation, but unfortunately, he is now way off the deep end.
Yeah. Yep, that's for sure. All right, so you're a Trump. The votes that you'll have to explain to your grandkids are, I went Trump, Kanye, no vote. That's where we are. That's all good. Trump, Kanye.
Well, luckily, I probably won't have
vote.
kids. Yeah, I'm not much of a. I don't think I make a good parent, so I'm going to avoid that one. I'm going to sidestep it.
Wild that you're a conservative, because they would not consider you a high value male already, off just what you've shared so far.
Yeah, but I don't consider like people like Andrew Tate high value men either, so I'm not really too worried about their opinions.
Well, they're spreading like crazy and definitely breeding.
They sure are. It's scary.
And socially breeding. All right, so what was the point you were going to make? Sure,
yeah. So I just wanted to say that while I will say that Donald Trump's immigration policies are pretty inhumane, I do think they're still not, I don't want to say a step in the right direction, but I think it's a the sort of hardline attitude of, I think we should be vetting who we let into our country, purely because that allows us to sort of have greater control over how our society evolves. I think
So wait, Emerson, I'm pro
sure.
vetting people who come into the country, but I'm pro flooding the country with immigrants. Like I think
Sure.
that's the best our country's ever been. So why would you say it's in the step in the right direction when he's shutting it down, even though our economy relies on these people?
Well, let's explore that, because I think it's very interesting. So I, for one, do not think that America is a country that's designed to support the entire world in the sense of we should just let anyone and everyone come in, because I don't think our economy can necessarily support that. Or
who shouldn't
frankly,
we
our
let in?
infrastructure.
Dave, specifically, who shouldn't we let in? Or Emerson,
anyone who I suppose doesn't. No, it's all good. Anyone who I suppose doesn't fit our cultural ideals.
What's our cultural ideals?
I think what I would like our cultural ideals to be, and what I believe them to be, are a love of our personal freedoms, our belief that we're all treated equally, which I know some people might not think that's the case, which is very unfortunate. And in some states, there's not a equality.
Wait, so should they believe that we
racist.
are, or that we should be treated equally?
They should believe that we should be treated, not that they shouldn't.
Okay.
I don't want complacency. I want people in my country who aspire, want, and actively pursue equality and freedom above all.
Okay. So to be clear, people who come here need to have values different than the values we expect of the people who are citizens. Like
there are a lot of people
freedom
who are
of
citizens
speech, freedom of expression, freedom of and to me, I go, America was built as an immigration hub. America is the melting pot country. If you want to come here and you don't have, felony crimes in any other country, and you want to make a go of things here, come on and make a go of things. And we find that our country has grown and been the best part of the world when we've embraced that policy.
So I think some of that's interesting, because if we look at when we were taking in the original America, a lot of our immigrants were from, European nations, which I would say had a greater cultural, I guess you'd say not acceptance, but just it's easier to mesh well a European culture with a quote unquote American culture, whatever they may have been in the 1800s and the 1900s. I think there's a lot more overlap than say a country in Africa, for example, or the Middle East, where there are different things that are held to a higher
because there were so many voluntary immigrants from Africa into the United States. There were so many voluntary African immigrants. Emerson.
Emerson, can we just jump to you believe you have a progressive? Do you, Emerson? Can we just jump to that? You believe you have a progressive framing for why the country should be white?
I don't think the country should be white.
But white, you believe that there's a white cultural identity, and it should be white and those who adopt the white cultural identity.
I think the cultural identity that I've put forward is one that aspires for, again, personal freedoms and respect and equality.
So what you're saying is anybody who is willing to say, I don't know,
we were just talking about how talking over people isn't very nice. You're having that last conversation.
I'm fine with it not being nice, and I'm fine with also not wasting time, because right now I want to get past what's sounding a little bit like white supremacy. So Emerson, so you're basically saying,
so
people
again,
who come
if you look
here
at
need
the
to
United
pledge
Emirates, if you look at the
allegiance.
Emiratis where they have slave labor, I don't.
He thought that would work. So that was the mute sound, just so you know. So to be clear, Emerson, what my question is, you're saying that people who come here should have to pledge their allegiance to our values, to say hey, this country is here with these values, these freedoms, and they should prove, one, that they know what those things are and pledge allegiance to them and pledge to maintain those laws and things to be a citizen here in the country. Would that be correct?
We shouldn't,
Emerson?
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I can't hear you when I'm trying to make my point. So if you try again after I finish making my point,
I know you can't hear me if you're trying to talk.
No, it's cool, man. I get it, man.
No.
I get it. You just want to do your show and be
So we'll just mute again. And when I unmute here, Emerson, are you going to be answering? Emerson's left. Emerson wanted to go on about like these other countries that have like slavery and the Emirates and these countries that I'm going to keep not saying brown countries, but be clear, I mean brown countries. And I'm going to try and so anyway, Emerson has a progressive form of white supremacy. That's all that was. He believes is a progressive form of white supremacy. I'm sure you'll make yourself a trophy.
There's some people in chat who need to grow some balls and say that shit to my face.
Oh yeah? Who's in chat?
Yeah. I don't know. They've gone by now. This is a quick enough chat that I'm not like catching people's usernames and stuff, but we got calls waiting anyway.
Hey, people in chat who are so brave. I don't think you're real. I think you're robots. Prove you're not robots and call in. Dead internet theory, my guys. I'm just going to believe you're a robot in chat until you actually call and talk to us. All right, Pete in Illinois. Pete, I kind of think you're just a troll, to tell you the truth. I from what I'm seeing screened here, Pete, it seems unlikely that you're for real. Can we turn off the show in the background though, Pete?
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
That'd be great.
Oh, I thought, because I was kind of watching. Sorry.
Pete, how old are you?
I am 40. Yeah, 40.
Okay.
About to be 41.
Are you Christian?
No. Oh, I was raised Catholic.
What religion would you say
my
you are?
mom was huh?
Do you have a religion?
Oh, atheist.
You're an atheist. Wild.
Yeah.
All right, and you're calling in. You are MAGA. Who'd you vote for in the last election?
I voted for Kamala. Or Kamala.
Interesting.
I still don't know what the right way to say it is.
It was right the first time. It's the word.
Oh, it was?
Okay.
Kamala?
Kamala, like the little symbol. Kamala. Yep.
Kamala.
Yep. All right.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm meant to believe, Pete. To be clear, I'm meant to believe, Pete, that you've called in as an independent from Illinois who voted for Kamala Harris. And the note that you gave to our screener is that Native Americans should be grateful we don't destroy them and that the 1800s were woke.
No, I'm just saying they weren't, but usually you look at cultures, right? Back in the day, you look through like history, right? When a society would like conquer another society or a country, I don't know how you call them, like whatever it was back in the day. They weren't really countries, but like tribes, people, they would conquer it and they would either kill or make them conform to whatever their like normal was, and I don't know, I kind of found it crazy that there's still Indian, like we could have, but we didn't, and it was horrible.
And they should what? Wait, and they were horrible?
I don't know. No, they were not the Indians, the white people, man. We're white people. White people are horrible. I'm white people. We're horrible.
Okay.
We're horrible.
And so your point is
people.
because you told the screener they should be grateful.
I don't know. Something set me off about what Emerson from Kentucky was saying. And I don't know why I got this idea to call, but I did. I don't know. I'm a little drunk right now. So.
Okay, goodbye. Fuck off.
Like, thanks for being honest, I guess. Jesus. The show isn't even happening late enough in the day for y'all to be this drunk, okay?
Yeah, you guys are all, I'd use the word functional alcoholic, but none of that was functional. MAGA, where are you at? 33654-321-01, 336-543-2101. It's fun to type in because you just get to go down the line. You get to the 6 and then it's fun.
These people are going to push me to drink tonight.
Yeah, me too. And I literally can't drink or I'll get very, very sick. David in Michigan is calling. David in Michigan, you are on the line with Lux and Jimmy. What's up?
Hey, I just want to vent. I am anti-MAGA, and one of your earlier points you were making about if I guess the rich fat cats running corporations I think if they get taxed too high, they would leave the country. That wasn't your point, but that was, I guess, a point that someone else was making. And one thing I've been pointing out to people, and I haven't heard it yet, is let them leave. First of all, there's too many people in this country who are dependent on the uber rich, just like they say that we're dependent on the government. Listen to how they sound. They're afraid that these rich, entitled, very low quality corporation CEOs are going to leave. Let's look at the kind of quality.
Hang on, Dave. Dave, do you have a challenger
go
or a
ahead.
question for us? Because to tell you the truth, we don't really do the like just open mic thing, and it's something that I find terribly.
No, I mean, I guess not because I just don't hear this point being made. So I guess maybe it's not as aggressive as mine.
You told the screener that I wasn't making a strong enough point. The point I made wasn't let them leave because they're not going to leave. The point I made was they won't leave. All their shit's here. The consumerism is here. They wouldn't leave even if you take their money. If you leave them rich, they're not going to leave. And it's not like Walmart can just rebuild. Oh, I don't want to be an American rich person anymore. I'm going to go and move Walmart to where? China? You're just going to lift them up? You're going to transport your Walmarts by helicopter? They're not leaving. They won't leave.
My only other thing was to say for markets where like Walmart sells food and stuff, so that's kind of hard for them to relocate for that. But for other markets, even if they did leave, what would happen is the person that was second or third or fourth place behind them, they're second, third, and fourth place because the number one and the number two are getting government handouts through all these little sweetheart tax breaks. So the third and fourth will become number one.
So what was the point I wasn't making strong enough? Because without conflict, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, Dave. I don't care about things we agree on.
Oh, well then let me let you go. Keep hammering away at him. That's all I said. Yep.
We're just not a open mic or a support show. There's some other calls. There's at least a call being screened. MAGA, waiting for you. Call in. Let's read a few super chats while these get screened. There's more than I realized. Agent had said, this is off to a great start. Take my money. Matt is a MAGA supporter, so the studies I bought and paid for say he's probably illiterate. True facts. You got to love that. This just like broad over generalization of like, some studies are paid for. Great. The information I just give you come from a paid study. Please give me that. By the way, all studies are paid for. It's whether they're biased, whether their conclusions are paid for. Somebody funds every study. And often studies are funded by entities who's already have an inkling of how they think it's going to turn out. And the existence of that data will be useful to their end. But if the data is consistent, it survives peer review and the testing is found to be sound, the data is there and you have the data you have. Now, sometimes you need to add to that data. There needs to be things that puts that data into better context and shit like that. And we can argue about that all the day long, but it's not a counter argument to say studies are paid for.
People keep asking me as well for they're like, please tell me what information I can use when I'm arguing with conservatives. And I'm like, girl, they don't care. Like, I mean, they want statistics. They want data and statistics. And I'm like, they don't care about that. So
they don't submit
why would you
to
bother?
Information. They don't submit to facts.
They're just going to go, nah, your study was biased or there was they're not even going to say there was a methodological flaw. That's something I would fucking say, but they're just going to go, nah. That's
facts
so true.
Sound gay. I'm going to let you ramble to the people for a little bit and pee and change my 3D print. BRB.
Totally. So
and then when we return, we'll take a call. Callers, MAGAs, we want you. 336543210 BRB.
MAGAs, come on in here. Yes, thank you everybody for complimenting my eye makeup. We do have one person waiting or one person being screened currently, but we've still got open lines and we're going to keep going for at least another 30 minutes. So if you want to come in here and argue about trans rights, if you want to come in here and try to make a better, less inhumane argument about immigration, I really do kind of appreciate when MAGA or someone like that will say outright things like, yeah, I think children deserve to die. Like, it's rare that you get that level of direct honesty from people. But the simple fact that that doesn't cause people to then go, oh, I'm going to go rethink my life. I'm going to go process this information and maybe think about how fucked up that thing that I just said was. But yeah, it's a great way to end a conversation, I think. It's a good way to be like, yo, let me try to find a quick way to disregard all of the rest of everything that this person has to say. The moment I think someone admits that they think that it was okay for like a kid to die because their parents were trying to give them a better life by bringing them to America, that's crazy. Also, if you like me vamping, I stream twice a week for about 3 to 4 hours. So you can get about 6 to 8 hours of my voice by following me at Luxander Moss on YouTube. Yeah, but man, that shit drives me crazy when people are like, yeah, I'm just gonna straight up say, and it's a misdemeanor. Oh my God. Like it's like a traffic violation is the equivalent. You know, you don't deserve to die for that. But there are people who believe that about American citizens too. Because I had this discussion with somebody back when oh my goodness. I can't even fucking remember all of the names at this point of all of the high profile cases. I'm going to say Ferguson, Missouri, and you all will know what I'm talking about. But like the idea that a teenager maybe stole something and therefore a cop unloaded their gun into that person in broad daylight is just wild. So, yeah, it's truly, I do not know how to live in a country with these people, right? I don't really mind having neighbors who disagree with me. I don't really mind having neighbors who, I don't really care that much about what my neighbors believe so long as it doesn't affect me in any way. But the problem is that people with opposite politics to me, like that's basically the thing that defines the difference between our politics is that I actually give a shit about truth and not harming people and mostly just living my fucking life and minding my own business. But the people with opposing politics have a politics that involves actively eradicating me and preventing me from existing within the country. And so like I just don't know what you do with those people. Like I genuinely don't know how to live with people who want to exterminate their neighbors. Like you can't. You don't live in a country with those people. Welcome back.
What up? I've been
What
I have to
up?
run my 3D printer. I'm organizing my wood shop and I have to run my 3D printer basically nonstop.
Oh yeah?
And so this is for a thing called Gridfinity. This on the back, I've printed the stuff that goes on the bottom of my drawers, and then these like lock in, so everything. And then these slots will each hold. These are perfectly sized to my sharpening stones that I have for my like
Hell
chisels
yeah,
and
dude.
blades and stuff.
I
This
love
brings
that.
me great joy. Okay. Let's talk to Tim in Michigan. Tim in Michigan, you are MAGA, it says here. Tim, how old are you?
64.
Great. Tim is 64 and MAGA. And you're here to say we need to quit printing money. Go ahead.
Well, that was my. I wanted to talk about our national debt, $37 trillion, heading to 50. Sooner or later, we're going to run out of money. The dollar is going to deflate. And it, regardless of what party you belong to, seeing these patterns over the years, the stock market going up and down and up and down, and we're missing billions of dollars from the military-industrial complex right before 9/11, and we're missing another $4 billion. We're being raped and pillaged by our own government. All right. Now, Trump is trying to fight that. That's how I look at it.
No, sir.
He is
Incorrect.
He is the president of the club, but he's never been invited to the club. And they can't stand that he's an outsider. He used to be a liberal Democrat. The only color this guy worries about is the color green.
You've got 9 different places here.
Let's talk about the debt. What are we going to do about
Let's talk about the debt.
That's really
so
what
why
I
would you
know.
vote for Donald Trump, who exploded the debt in his first term and is continuing to explode it in his second?
Well, you know about COVID, correct?
Yes, and I know that he fumbled COVID, but was already outspending Obama before COVID.
Obama He spent more money than all the presidents combined from starting with George Washington. Did you know that?
Yeah, I believe you've made that up and you're not framing this correctly at all. And again, Donald Trump
Just
was
Google
outspending. The pace by which he was spending was outpacing Obama. So,
Also, we don't
and
like the
Obama, do remember that in 2008, I remember it, when Obama took over, we were actively in a deep recession. And so the spending, the money was literally spent on the American people to get us out of the recession, to bring our job numbers back down, and to recover from the economic disaster, the trillions of dollars spent on a war we shouldn't have been in, that the situation the Republicans put us in.
Which war would that be?
Iraq. We'll just say the war on terror. We shouldn't have been Iraq, Afghanistan, any of those.
Well, the whole Congress voted for that. That was a bipartisan.
Yeah, no shit. And the
war.
whole
You
Congress
know
was
that, right?
wrong. The whole Congress was wrong.
Yeah.
And Obama and George W.
Yeah,
Bush
totally.
and Joe Biden and Donald Trump are all war criminals for the way they did those wars.
Listen, Russia went into Ukraine under Obama, went in under Biden, never went in there under Trump.
Because of COVID, Tim.
He has brought,
because of COVID. And excuse me, Tim, your argument that Trump is the anti-Putin is dead now. Because Trump was telling us he was the anti-Putin. Hang on, Tim.
He's
Trump was telling us.
anti-war.
Okay, great. I'm going to hit both of these points because you're super wrong. Tim, Trump was telling us he was the
Where
anti-Putin.
do we have
and that he was
soldiers
so.
right
Tim,
now?
I'm going to finish even if it kills you. Trump says he was the anti-Putin so much that he'd be able to end the war if he won the election before he even got into office. That he'd have it finished. Now he is confessing that Putin is not under his control, is going crazy, and he's having basically to go. We've basically lost a year of progress as essentially his support of Ukraine has just become what Biden's already was, but we had a year gap of Putin getting more powerful in the meantime. Now, when you say he's the anti-war, I'm going to answer. I'm going to answer these questions. Tim,
Obama let that happen.
And Obama was wrong to let Russia to progress in the way it was. But hey, Tim, who has the power to declare war? Tim, who has the power to declare war?
Sent him blankets.
Tim, who has the power to declare war? Tim, who has the power to declare war?
Since 9/11, the president does.
No, Tim.
Since 9/11,
Congress,
the president does.
Tim, the Congress
How many wars
is who gets to
have
declare
we been
war.
in?
Jesus
How
fucking
many
Christ,
wars have we
Tim.
been in?
The
How many
Congress
wars have we
voted
been in
on the...
since
Tim, you can't fucking handle yourself. And I still haven't gotten to answer your previous assertion because you're trying to gish gallop. So I'm going to now answer everything before I unmute you. First of all, it is still the Congress is who you said it yourself. The Congress voted for the Iraq war and yet still saying it's the president. The Congress also has the purse. Obama, despite winning re-election, had an obstructionist government, but correct, did not do enough. I'm not a defender of Obama. Let Russia get away with way too fucking much. And Donald Trump is now the president. So what you're doing is called whataboutism. Donald Trump is failing in every way when it comes to Russia and took a year to find out, oh shit, apparently I just have to do what Biden was doing before. That's where we're at with Russia. Now, you said he's the anti-war president. This is the person who almost put us into a conflict with a nuclear-armed fucking North Korea. The man got lucky because of COVID. More wars would have broken out. And right now, when he got into office, basically helped Israel finish their genocide off, gave them unlimited resources. So for being anti-war, he has a lot of fucking blood on his hands. In his first term, a lot of people forget, he oversaw the Yemenis and supported the Yemenis genocide. The man is so connected to fucking genocide, he's a Hitler wet dream. Now, he's also threatening and putting us in the early stages of war with not countries over there so we don't have to fight them over here, with countries here. He's declaring war on American cities. Literally, I'm the anti-war president, but I've named it the Department of War, and I'm going to war in Chicago. But on top of that is committing additional war crimes, literally killing people that he alleges are drug traffickers, but we don't put people to death for drug trafficking in this country. So he is killing foreign boats using drones over here and threatening war and threatening violences with countries like Venezuela and Argentina. So all of your points so far have failed, including that he is the anti-spending president when Donald Trump is continuing to spend more than other presidents. Now, I will unmute you. Your Gish Gallop, you won't be allowed to Gish Gallop again. You can go 1 point at a time. You will wait until we're done with a point before we move on to another.
You're funny, brother. So
Hilarious.
the $37 trillion. What's your liberals' suggestion? How we
I'm not
get
a
that
liberal.
under control?
I'm not a liberal.
Well, what is this? What does it say on your title here?
Don't know. It doesn't say we're liberals.
Oh, okay. All right. So
you are closer to being a liberal
ideas?
than I am.
How are we going to get back to a balanced budget amendment? How
Tax
do we
the
get
rich.
back to like a consumption tax?
Tax the rich.
Tax them so
Tax
much.
the rich. Eliminate
What's a fair
ginormous.
tax?
Tim, you don't get to ask me a question and not answer it. I would go way beyond fair taxes. You tax the rich. You seize a lot of their assets,
How
and you
much?
turn their companies into co-ops. It's not going to be an exact percentage because some of them you need to just take dollar amounts, any dollar amount beyond whatever amount. You would absolutely break the fuck up out of all the monopolies, and you would give workers access to. What are you laughing at, Tim?
You think people are going to want to start businesses?
If they have to be
I mean,
fair
you're
to their
nuts,
employer. Excuse me, Tim. Do
You're
I think
nuts.
people are?
Who
Tim,
is
do
going
you?
to
Do I think?
invest in your nonsense?
We're going to mute again because Tim once again asks a question and then tries to talk over you answering it. If a person does not want to start a business because they are unable to any longer exploit their labor or allow their laborers access to the profits of their company, I hope they die. That's the answer to your question. And so taxing them would be fine.
Hey,
I like worker
go
exploitation.
Go down
Eviscerate the proletariat. You don't know what proletariat is. You can
go
spell
to
it.
Cuba. Go to Cuba if you want to live
That's
like
cute.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cute.
And is America
Tell me
going
where
to once
your
again, if I move to
nuttiness
Cuba,
works.
by the way,
Tell
did you
me
know
where
Cuba
your
has a higher,
nuttiness works.
great. Did you know that Cuba has a higher standard of living and a higher rate of, a better rate of healthcare for their citizens? Why do Cuban citizens get better healthcare than Americans do?
This is where your age shows.
Hey, Tim,
Literally,
actually, this is
your
where,
age is
Tim, this is
showing.
where your age
Have you
shows
ever
because your
been to
brain
Cuba?
started deteriorating
Have you ever
30
been to
years
Cuba?
ago. Hey,
Have you
Tim,
ever
why
been
do
to Cuba?
Cubans get better healthcare than Americans
Have
do?
you ever been to Cuba?
Have you ever been to Cuba, Tim?
Several times.
No, you haven't. Shut
And
the
I
fuck up, you lying
guarantee
piece of
you-
shit.
What you're saying
You're such a
is
fucking liar.
absolute nonsense.
Great. Why do they consistently
Absolute
get
nonsense.
Okay, so once again, Tim has to be controlled because as the old fucking fart he is, he thinks he could just talk over people younger and more capable than him. He's very sad that he's aged out of relevance here and is trying to take it out and say things like, this is where your age is showing. Well, if you can do ageism, so can I. I'm much more intelligent and much more capable than you. And the society I would design would be a society for people that included even assholes like you, and you would like to continue to live in an exploitation and exclusionary society. Now, would like to once again point out that the standard of healthcare in Cuba is consistently ranked by independent assessors, not by Cubans, higher than American healthcare for the average citizen. Why is that, Tim?
Not by Cubans. Oh, dude, you're funny, man.
Oh, that's so funny.
You're hilarious.
The facts are funny.
You're absolutely crazy. Then why don't you move there, man? That sounds like your cup of tea right there.
Because I believe in the Constitution
Get
and
in
I'm
a boat.
content to...
You could be there in about...
Okay, we got to mute again. He asks a question again and just keeps talking like he doesn't want an answer, and then you unmute him and goes, I believe in the Constitution, and this country was built to change. And I believe that there is incredible amounts of exploitation here amongst the people I care about and love, and the society in which I was born into. And with the promise that we can improve this country, I'm participating in that, which is the actual American promise. I'm here to change it, Tim, because I care about the people. And we're literally talking about just healthcare. The main reason I wouldn't go there is Cuba has had their economy destabilized and their socialism forced to fail by literally the Americans. Because capitalism hates socialism because it's superior to it in every way. Now let's unmute to hear more.
There are several main countries that go into Cuba. Not America doesn't, but all
Those
of
are
Europe
words in an
does.
order. Yeah, you don't know
All
how
of Europe
sanctions
does.
work. You don't know how sanctions work,
you
and
know
we're
that,
also
right?
physically closer. And you know that we blocked off them from having trade with other countries, right? Do you know that?
No,
Mister, I've been to Cuba
no,
so
no,
many
no,
times.
no.
Hey, Tim, what was the last year
Well,
you went to Cuba?
We might have asked.
Hey, Tim, no,
this would have
oh
been
my God, you don't know how sanctions work. When did you go to Cuba last?
95
You got a pen?
through Canada.
You went through Canada to Cuba. Cool. What, you got a pen with you?
Yep.
So you're
I
going to
do
write this
not.
down. Jimmy, JIMMY at QNAline.com. And you're going to send me pictures of your trip to Cuba.
Oh, I'd have to go to my photo album.
Sure. It's easy. It's all digitized
All right.
now. Surely
What
you've
is it,
not
Jimmy
so old
what?
you haven't digitized your photo album. You
Jimmy
literally
what?
take it into a Jimmy at QNAline, LINE.com.
I'm going to have to blur out most of them.
Yeah, of any identifying
Is
features.
that okay?
I don't care.
Is that okay?
What were you doing there?
Hey, you know, when you steal the means of production,
Nope,
the
it's not
money
stealing.
packs
The
up
means of
and
production
leaves.
should belong to the workers.
And,
The billionaires
and
are the
that's
ones
totally
stealing.
against the Constitution.
The billionaires
now you're
are the ones stealing.
Now you're the one
Yes, no
interrupting.
shit, Tim. Yeah, no shit, Tim.
The
You
money-
just absolutely
show.
strawmanned me.
The money goes where it's best treated. And if you steal the means of production,
It's not
that's
stealing.
called socialism. Solinsky,
Yeah, it
rules
fucking
for
is.
radicals.
Woo!
You guys are
Wait,
nuts.
Tim,
guys
are
are
you accusing me
absolutely
of
nuts.
wanting socialism?
Nobody's fallen.
Tim, are you
nobody's
accusing
fallen
me
for
of
your
wanting
nonsense.
socialism? Hey, Tim,
It
are
has
you
been
accusing me of
tried in
wanting
about
socialism?
45 countries, and it's
Tim.
never worked anywhere.
Tim,
Anywhere.
excuse me. Yes, it has. Tim, are you
Anywhere.
accusing me? Tim, are you
Your
accusing
ideas
me?
are so old.
Hey, Tim,
They've been around like 100 years before you were born. And you guys are falling for it. It's
Hey,
the
Tim, where
young
has capitalism
people that fall
worked?
for it.
Hey, Tim, where has capitalism worked?
Right here.
No, America has this.
Everybody tries to imitate us.
Mm.
All right. Now
And
we
yet they
have
don't.
crony capitalism, which is
Thank you for acknowledging that it hasn't worked because we have crony capitalism. I've muted you again because you just go on and on and on and on. Capitalism has failed in America. Right now, this is about if you are middle class. For a rich country, we are the worst rich country to have access to medical care. I am on a gold plan, a gold healthcare plan. And I have found a thing in my armpit of which I am worried might be cancer. It's probably not cancer, but it could be. It is. I called the other day, let them know. The research I've done says you got to get this checked for cancer because it's kind of not good looking. And they literally gave me an appointment for December 4th in 2026. Over a year from now, when I will be dead from cancer if it's cancer. So I have to now take it onto my own shoulders, pay out of my own pocket to find somebody who is not going to be in network. I might be able to get an out-of-network cost, but I'm going to pay tremendously more just to have somebody look at it and probably go, nah, that's not cancer. But I don't have the qualifications to do it. America is not a good place, and capitalism has not succeeded here, except for billionaires. If you are rich, capitalism is treating you well. If you are anybody else, it is not. And right now, we are getting to see lots of that. Tim, these are your final points, and then we're going to move on.
you should go to Cuba and get that looked at.
If I was in Cuba, I would unironically get assistance and care quicker.
You could go over
People
there
do medical
easily.
tourism. Actually,
Hey,
that's there's a whole
they
industry
do a
around
lot.
traveling
Yes.
for healthcare.
They do
Tim,
a lot in Cuba with cancer, but only
No
the
shit,
wealthy
Tim.
get
You're
good,
literally
good,
describing,
good
Tim,
health
what you're
care
saying
there.
isn't incorrect. That if I have the money, by the way, you're still talking about money for people with, or healthcare for people with money, that people with money can go to other countries to get better healthcare. That literally happens. If you are super rich,
No,
you come
I'm
to
not saying that.
America,
Everybody
you go to
comes
California
here.
or New
Yeah,
York.
everybody comes here. Right.
The super rich come here, not
Yeah.
everybody. The super rich come here.
Well,
For just
don't
the
have
super
the
rich, Tim, for just the super rich, American healthcare for the
Right.
super rich is the best in the world.
Yeah.
Most people are not super rich. This is why capitalism has failed. It works for rich people. It does not work for anybody else, including you, Tim. Or I don't know. Apparently you've been to Cuba a shit ton of times. Maybe you are rich. Why'd you go to Cuba?
Well, I work and I have Blue Cross Blue Shield. I have great health insurance.
Why did you go to Cuba
I have Aflac.
in 1995? Hey, why did you go to Cuba in 1995 when it was illegal?
Party.
Wait.
Oh, it was party.
So Cuba, where it was illegal to go to, is so shitty and torn up and disgusting that you wanted to go party there?
Through Canada.
That's why you wanted to
go.
Right. So you, by the way, that's still breaking the law.
Fish in there.
Tim, that's still breaking the law. Going through Canada is still breaking the law as an American citizen.
Ooh.
Yeah, you still broke the law because you wanted to go. Don't worry, I'm not a fucking snitch ass bitch. I don't believe in that garbage.
Hey, so Cuba doesn't have like a FDA over there. So when they try their cancer treatments, they usually use human beings, which makes it much more effective at getting to a cure than using mice and rats.
Tim, are you going to want to go ahead and wash your hands? Tim, did you want to wash your hands now? Well, you got shit all over them, having just shoved your hands all the way up your ass to pull that out.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, go clean that shit off your hands. We're moving on. What's that?
All right.
Old man?
I said, explain that to me.
Pass. Goodbye, old man.
I call it boring.
Jesus Christ. Like the bad liars at that Trump rally. Stop boring us. This is boring. Yeah. Did you ever see that?
People in the I didn't. But people in the chat are like, "OMG, Jimmy, let Lux talk." And I'm like, I'm fucking bored. I have nothing to say to this dude.
Lux would have spoken if Lux wanted to speak. Y'all are like fucking weird in chat. Y'all think that people can't speak up for themselves. All right. Matthew in Texas. Go ahead. Matthew immediately hung up as soon as we took Matthew. Don't ask me what my pronouns are. That shit is fucking stupid, was one of the notes left. All right. Yeah. Charles in Texas. America first. Trump is not a pedo. He's in the Epstein files for other reasons. I think that you might be, well, I don't know that he's not a pedo. I think the main reason he's in the Epstein files is that he knew about a lot of pedophiles and protected them.
Yeah. I agree.
You agree?
Yeah.
So you don't think he's a pedophile himself, you just think he's a protector of pedophiles?
Yes.
Cool. Is that better?
No. Hell no.
Word. So in effect, we could say he's either a pedophile or as bad as a pedophile.
Yes.
Okay. And Charles, how old are you?
37.
Who'd you vote for in the last election?
I've never voted.
Oh. And why do you consider yourself MAGA?
I'm not MAGA. I'm America first.
Oh, you're a groiper?
If that's what y'all call them, then yeah, sure.
Do you follow Nick Fuentes?
I've seen some of his stuff, not a lot.
You like what he has to say?
But, we disagree with some stuff, but I mean, Who doesn't?
Is it the Jewish stuff you disagree on? So, like, for example, I think if Nick Fuentes had to rate on a scale of 1 to 10, like list off 1 to 10 what the worst problems facing America is, I think he would put Jewry, as he calls it, as number 1 or number 2, right? Where would you put Jewry?
Jewelry? Like what my wife wears?
Jews. No, like the Jews. Judaism. Jews. Where would you put the Jews on your list of problems America's facing?
Probably pretty far down.
Well, that's good. So you're America First, even though the America First movement is becoming a Nazi movement led by Nick Fuentes. That's like he's the one who's doing the blue hats with America First. That's the Groypers thing. So I think you might want to consider what names you're using, because I think you just think of the concept of America First. Now, I would say that my priorities are not America First, but humans first. That humans matter more than America. America's just a name. It's just, I mean, it's a symbol, honestly, and it's a myth. But anyway, why do you, so you are at America First. I guess I don't know what you're calling in to defend. It just says you don't think he's a pedophile. I don't know if he's a pedophile. I think he probably is, honestly, but I don't think that proof's in the Epstein files. But he definitely protects pedophiles. Would you put him in prison for protecting pedophiles?
When it comes out and we see everything that everybody has done, everybody's going to prison. I don't care. Everybody's going to prison,
great, including Trump.
I hope so. These people are going to be hung for what they've done to some of these kids.
We don't hang pedophiles. I don't believe in the death penalty, but if you were going to convince me to bring it out for some people, pedophiles would be the ones. But we don't hang pedophiles in the country. So would you? But the specific question is, would you put Trump in prison, not for committing pedophilia if we don't have proof of that, but at the very least for protecting pedophiles?
Yes.
I'm going to guess the person in the live chat has never seen my show before. Does Jimmy think criticizing Israel is anti-Semitic? Well, that'd be fucking wild, considering the things I've said on this channel. Anyway. So you would put him in. So what point of contention are you calling in on?
Really, you just popped into my live feed and I was listening and I was getting really amped up about some crap. So I decided to call in and see how you felt about some stuff.
Who are you going to vote for in 2028? Let's say it's Gavin Newsom versus JD Vance. You going to vote?
No. I'm still not going to vote. Not until I see someone up there not until I see someone up there that I know that is going to be America First, not MAGA or whatever. I was MAGA for a while, and then I switched over to America First because MAGA was going the other way. And
who's an example of somebody who's America First that you would vote for? Charles, did we lose you?
No, I'm here. I'm trying to think. What's his name? Can I just say anybody?
Well, somebody who realistically could become the nominee. Like, don't make it your dad.
Oh, well, no, I'm not gonna. Not my dad. What's that dude off of Dirty Jobs or? Mike Rowe, that's his name, Mike Rowe.
We do need more reality TV star presidents. All right, well, Charles, it doesn't seem like you have much to say here. It sounds like you're generally conservative. I think conservatism is crap. I think that right now y'all are shooting yourselves not just in the feet, but all the way up your legs and everything else, because
shooting yourselves in the
dick. We're literally
facing,
even if without AI and robotics coming, I would still hold my positions. But now that that's what we're facing, it's fucking wild that anybody isn't. Like, at this point, it's probably wild I'm not a communist in the face of robotics and AI. Because what the fuck is... Charles, what do you do for a living?
I'm a mechanic.
Cool. You understand. How old are you again? How old did you say you were? 37?
37.
You do understand that your job will be replaced by the time you're 50, right? You will not be a mechanic until you are 65 and retire. You understand that, yes?
My question is, why do you think that? How can you think that there's not people out there fucking up their cars so bad that they're not going to need an actual human to come in and look at the car and fix it?
Because a human is inferior to an adequately trained robot, especially a specialist robot who has no other skill in every single way. You're right now thinking like, well, the robot can't do. Sometimes I can just hear a sound and know what's wrong with the car. The robot will scan the car and diagnose it in a quarter of a second. Charles, you will not be able to compete with robots on fixing what are extensively also robots. You won't be close to competing with it, Charles. Everybody's job is getting taken except for potentially some people who do like artsy things, entertainment things, and that people see the value in having a real human there for like
Also
feeling connected to them. And guess what? That might describe my job. How much money am I going to make if my entire audience has no money to spend? Even if I keep my job, I'm going to be poor as fuck. So even if my specific job is safe, to what end? And these people are literally hoarding resources and knowing what they're doing to the point that they're building bunkers, luxury bunkers, for fear of what we'll do one day to them. So Charles, you can be America first all you want. I'm humanity first. And the number one threat to America or humanity right now is billionaires. By this point throughout history, because of a difference in technology, the billionaires have mostly been meals. It's wild the amount they're getting away with.
Okay, so we're back on the billionaire argument like you had with the other guy.
Sure.
So
it's important
you
to talk
don't
about.
like billionaires. You don't like people that come up with an idea and make $1 billion off of it.
Correct.
I don't think anyone could ever possibly earn $1 billion.
Yeah. If you
There's no
come
such
up
thing
with
as
an
earning
idea,
$1 billion.
if you come up with an idea
inventor
and
is
that
the-
idea results in $1 billion, that means you have disproportionately paid yourself. And there is yet to be an example of a person earning $1 billion without exploitation of the people who actually built their idea. Maybe like crypto. That's exploitation of consumers
shipping
instead of the
jobs
builders.
to China for them to do it?
Sorry, what?
Exploitation. Do you mean like shipping the jobs to China for them to do it?
There are a great many ways workers can be exploited. No, shipping the jobs to China wouldn't be the act of exploitation. You could say they then exploited the Chinese labor itself, but the act of shipping wouldn't be. And by the way, that's capitalism. Shipping jobs to China is capitalism.
Yeah, that's right now, man.
Okay. I mean,
Now, how about, Charles, how do you feel about the people who are born rich and they'll be able to take that money and invest it into people who are capable of having the ideas and all they have is money, but because they put up the upfront money, they didn't actually have the idea, but they were able to provide the capital and they disproportionately make more than anybody else to the tune of billions of dollars, so that even the original idea haver or problem solver ends up not rich, remotely rich. Like, for example, most of the people who have invented medications. How do you feel about that situation?
That I do not like. That is some
Great.
bullshit.
It's most of great.
Down.
It's most great. It's most of the industries. Do you like your iPhone? Do you think Steve Jobs came up with it, or do you think he hired engineers and yet became super rich
and used a bunch of government funded things to build it?
Yeah. Used
like
your taxes
components
to build it.
Yeah. It started on the iPod, but I mean,
It started with a whisper.
I mean,
that was when I kissed her. Capitalism makes me want to blow my brains out, Charles. Because I'm not a
Well,
super
what do
rich
you think
person. I'm
that
sure
people
if I
should
was
do,
born
though?
super rich, I'd probably think it was dope, because that tends to be the condition of people who look like me and are born super rich.
Well, what do you feel it should be worth $1 billion, but is not?
Nothing. No person should be worth $1 billion. No person should be a billionaire.
I just don't agree because I mean, look at the person who I guess like thought of CDs. I guess
Have you
Great.
ever, hold on,
Maybe-
Charles,
hey,
I want to
Charles.
pitch in here for a second. Have you ever tried to actually understand what $1 billion means? Because if you don't I think that the problem here is that there is a completely, like, when you get to a certain point with numbers, the human brain just kind of stops working at like actually being able to conceive of a physical amount of objects. And $1 billion is huge. Like, frankly, that's a thing that I think that will change your perspective on this completely, because like a million minutes from now is like a few years, but 1 billion minutes from now is like decades. Like it's a matter of scale that is incomprehensible to the human brain. You should check out the Corridor Crew video explaining what $1 billion looks like how how much physical space takes up, how much you can buy with $1 billion. You could not spend $1 billion on like normal household things in your entire lifetime. Like it's enough money to last hundreds of years for a person just kind of living their life. Like there is no way to amass $1 billion in a way that doesn't necessarily mean that you have exploited and stolen from other people.
Charles, do you know at what dollar amount a person's happiness plateaus? Like if we observe, if we study people and we go, okay, here's the happiness index of these people feel secure, they feel well nourished, they feel engaged in their job, they're excited to do things, they're happy with life. At what age do you, or at what dollar amount do you think it takes? What dollar amount do you feel you would stop being significantly happier if you were making that amount each year?
30%.
No, a dollar amount. 30%. What are you talking about?
Okay, that's
A dollar amount.
A dollar amount.
If you made X number of dollars a year, the difference between that and making any
live?
more money and your happiness would not significantly go up.
All right. Well, where do you live? Do you live around Texas, somewhere close?
I'm in Texas. I'm near Austin, but you can just go with an average. It's fine.
Right.
You just go with wherever you are. What dollar amount do you think
Right, so
after
right now
this amount, I wouldn't be significantly happier with more money? I might be able to do one or two more fun things every now and then, but like I am a happier person. At what dollar amount do you think that is?
All right. So I made $108,000 last year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we paid for everything that we needed to pay for. We didn't save anything because, well, I mean,
Life's
you live in
expensive.
Texas.
How many people? How many people did you
and-
support with 108, Charles?
6.
Right. So 108 is more like, what does that come out to? Like 18, 19,000 a person?
Sure.
Sure.
20 grand a
so
person.
it's
I
not
guess,
really
yeah.
108. But guess what, man? A person who actually gets 100,000 a year is living off of 100,000 a year themselves. Beyond that, people's happiness plateau, like that's the plateau spot. If you get up to there, you feel economically secure, you feel motivated, you feel happy, you're not afraid of the future, all that kind of shit. If that's your $100,000, you're good. How many billions? $1 billion. How many hundreds of thousands of dollars is that? How many units of 100,000 is $1 billion?
It's 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. Yeah, 1 over 1,000.
No, it's a million. So one billionaire has
Oh,
enough
1 over a
money
million,
for
sorry.
1 million people to feel happy and safe and good. Should they be able to, should people literally be, and let's be so clear right now. You just talked about things are expensive. You didn't get to save. Money isn't just money. Money is security. Money is security against health outcomes, right? Bad health outcomes. You have money, you're more likely to have good health outcomes. It's housing security. It's food security. I'm fed, I'm housed, I have water, I have electricity, I have entertainment. It's honestly, to a point, is security against depression. Because if you get depression, you can afford therapy. You can afford
Or to take
things
a few weeks
to
off
do.
work.
Right. My best therapy is woodworking. Luckily, I make enough money to woodwork as a hobby, right? Kind of as a hobby. It's actually built into my job a little bit too. But it's you get to do things that are edifying. That's what money is. So what individual should be allowed to hoard more security than they ever need, that 1 million people do need and don't have? What person, if you think about it in dollars, why should people be, not dollars, but security, should people be allowed to hoard security in excess of what they need when many other people don't have security, but work just as hard, if not harder, than those people?
I guess the main thing between me and you is I agree with how our laid out, and you do not.
Correct. And I make enough money that I should be fine with it, but I'm not.
We're trying to
I
ask
don't
you,
get-
Charles, why. Like, why do you think that it's okay for one person to have enough money that 1 million people could have safety and security for their families, like that 1 million people could afford to get healthcare that they are currently not getting? Why do you think that is ethically permissible? Why do you think it should be legal? Why do you think we should allow that? Instead of saying, hey, if you made $100 million this year, you can keep a decent portion of that, but every amount of money you make over $100 million, we're going to tax 90% of it. That's what a marginal tax rate is. So why can't we just say, in the same way that we have a minimum wage, why can't we have a maximum wage? Why do you think it's ethical? I want you to explain why it is ethical for one person to have that much money while 1 million people starve and struggle.
Because even though y'all were talking about a 90% tax rate earlier after $100 million, there's still going to be people out there that are going to make billions of dollars, even at that 90% tax rate that y'all were talking about.
And we tax it, and we tax it, and we distribute it through services.
It was 10,000 people. I had my numbers wrong.
10,000. Okay, sorry, 10,000.
Doesn't
But
change
anyway,
it much, but 10,000.
That's a large number of people. Yeah. So, but the point is that, like, the person, okay, yeah, you're right. The person could give themselves a wage of $1 billion, but if they know that all that is going to get taxed, then what's going to happen is they're going to either reinvest that money into their company by improving services or improving the product that they deliver. Or what we would like to see happen is, like, instead of the government having to take that wealth and redistribute it, they should just pay their employees more. And we have seen this is a strong economic model, even not getting away from a broader capitalist system for individual businesses to work as worker co-ops. This company is a worker co-op where, like, we all get paid based on, like, what we contribute, and, like, we all get to kind of contribute to making decisions for the company. So it's clear that this is a type of model that works. And there are several brick and mortar businesses that have also taken this on. Famously, there's one in California where the CEO of the company only makes $70,000 a year, and people in the company sometimes get paid more than he does because he's paying out the bonuses from the profit at the end of the year. So that's what we're advocating for.
I routinely pay people who work here more than I pay myself, for the record.
Yeah.
Because we work on profit share. Literally, routinely, I pay people. If you put in more labor than me here, you will likely make more money than I do.
I can't wait to get paid this month. I worked so much fucking in October.
Should be good. It won't be more than me, I don't think.
That's okay.
No amount of work. I don't know about money. Your profit share is what it is. It could be more, but amount of work. You know, I also worked a lot in October. But anyway, Charles.
Hell yeah.
Back to your thing.
Right,
I mean, I don't know how to explain it to you, Charles, besides this. If you develop cancer tomorrow, your family is fucked, and they shouldn't have to be, because we have more than enough resources to cover them. You getting cancer will fuck them because billionaires hoarded money. And I don't know why you would think, dude, Charles, why is the law not just, if you make $1 billion, you have to spend it? All you got to do is spend it, and then you don't get taxed on it. Just spend it. And by the way, those kinds of things already exist. If you have $1 billion or you're worth $1 billion and you just start building more companies and paying that to people and building out more of an empire or whatever you want, as long as you spend it, business expenses are write-offs. The business getting it, just buy security for other people. Just spend it. But billionaires are hoarding it. They are keeping it, and we're keeping track of our economy, this phony economy, according to the stock market. And the stock market can be doing excellent when the average person is getting fucked right now. But they go, well, you can't be getting fucked. The stock market's great. And then you're sitting there going like, oh, weird. I feel like I'm eating less because I can't afford to eat normal. But the stock market's doing great. So that'll fill my tum-tum. I feel like I didn't get my leg treated and get the physical therapy I needed. And I feel like I'm limping because I couldn't afford it. But that stock market, do you hear what NVIDIA shares are at? I must be fine.
Yeah. Trillions, 9 trillion, I think.
Yeah. All right, Charles. Well,
But
I'm growing tired of the day, and we have three additional calls. Will you just go ahead and make your last point? We're going to move on there.
Oh no, I was about to start another debate, but that's fine. I'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah, call another time. Thanks, Charles.
Bye.
At least one of these people will end up rage quitting, I'm sure. So we've got at least 2 more calls left. Let's talk to Stuart in Iowa, who's an independent and mad that I want to seize rich people's assets. There is also a difference between what we would do if we were capable of doing and what transitionary phases we will actually end up using. It's not like I think tomorrow we're going to actually get to go seize them. That would be more in the form of a revolution, and then it's not seizing the assets. That's going to be like has happened historically. I'm not advocating for it. The seizing of their assets would be revolution and killing people.
Well,
anyway, go ahead, Stuart.
If I was going to start a debate with you, sir, I'd be going, why are you going against natural evolution? First of all, capitalism's the closest thing that we've come to that represents that, and the very survival of our species from single cell organisms and up, if you believe in that sort of thing. Started off with who could manage resources the best, who could multiply the fastest.
I'm also against rape, but if I were to rape people, my genes would be more likely to move on. So just because I accept the fact of evolution, which it is a fact, doesn't mean I would then turn a biological fact into a social order. There isn't evolution's the unfortunate truth of evolution is how cold it is. How unintelligent its design is, because it progresses in a way that doesn't consider that kind of shit. People have pain, they develop cancers, women have periods, and other AFAB individuals. These are all facts of evolution that shows that evolution is uncaring. I am a human who's developed empathy through evolution, and I don't find myself as uncaring as a natural force, and therefore I would not rape people, nor would I just let capitalism happen because you can say that they're somehow evolutionarily similar. It's wild.
Agreed. And you learned that through the social concepts that you were taught as you were raised, as you're exposed to in school, and an intellectual trade between multiple beings, right? So that we could all get along. You learn that over time, correct?
Don't know any other way to learn
what
things
I'm
than
wondering,
over time.
Considering how polarizing some of your opinions are, is why you don't understand that a lot of people are not going to catch up to where
you sure I don't understand, Stuart?
No, where the ideologies align, because they don't have the same capability you do.
And Stuart, do I need to win everybody?
Opportunities? No, you don't. But I will say,
in the history of America, when has it been more okay to be openly socialist? Ever?
I don't know enough to refute that statement.
That's okay. It's never, well, it was a question, but the answer is it never has. It has never been more. So the march toward what I prefer and would like to see implemented is succeeding. I will egotistically claim a modicum of credit, not much, okay? But I think I have, as you're describing, like, this isn't, I think I've participated in changing people's minds toward it. And as you pointed out, things happen over time. And I believe that I will be part of a movement that over time has a shot at successfully reforming the world into a better one. I also think I kind of went down a hole last night, and I think I understand that fascism with technology this time around is probably going to win, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to fight it.
Explain fascism with technology. I'm not a fan of your show. I just ran across it on my way into work. So could you explain that a little bit? What you mean?
Well, the great anti-fascism hope was the idea that arming people with more information would mean no one was ever fascist ever again, because how could you in the face of it? You have all the information in the world at your fingertips. And it turned out that our evolutionary tendency toward tribalism is so strong that even in the face of all of that information, when you create a marketplace where all information can be, and you try to do so with very democratic access and everybody gets to say their input and stuff, people are still going to prioritize that which centers them over that which centers others. And so an explosion of community like religion operates that prioritizes the individual's sense of self, just not their actual well-being, is far more efficacious. Like when it comes to, how propaganda is going to hit, you're basically a main character is going to hit much harder than the factual reality that you are a very small cog in a greater machine.
So you're talking about perception versus reality and the limited ability of a human brain to actually perceive what's going on because they're limited to 5 senses. And
Indeed.
often the person's not, person is not intellectually capable of exploring concepts outside of their own body or even perceiving their own reality correctly because of I believe it was called biological imperfections. So say you can't see very well. You don't see as well as a hawk. A hawk can see better. But even among people, you might not be able to see more than 2 or 3 feet. So you go through all of your life not being able to see, and it limits your perception. It changes how you react to your environment and stuff like that. And you're bringing this into a political environment where humanity itself, since I think it was the burning of the library in Alexandria that set us back so far, that all this information coming to us, like I'm older than the internet, I can say that, is wild. And no one adapts to new information that quick because of our limited capacity to interpret it and properly categorize it into a habit that makes us successful.
This is the actual point, is that we didn't prioritize skepticism and teaching people how to assess claims and how to explore good information. And we also have done the opposite of teaching people to prioritize the idea that they should explore if they are wrong and change their beliefs and update them when they are found to be wrong. In fact, mostly because of religion, we give people more figure out what team you're on, lay your claim there, stake it there, and your confidence in your claim is much more valuable. You as a person will be perceived as more valuable if you broadcast a confidence in a claim that is wrong than seeming like your mind could be changed otherwise on the beliefs you have, which are correct.
There's also a direct tie-in here that is like, this is what, when Jimmy says like fascism with technology, because when we're talking about all this access to information and like, oh, you could just look this up or whatever and all this, the platforms themselves incentivize
are
rage.
Biased.
They're almost exclusively biased toward conservatism. Like Facebook famously, and Twitter even before Elon Musk bought it, they can't apply their terms of service equally, because if they did, they would appear to have a serious anti-conservative bias because conservatives are constantly breaking the terms of engagement. But this is what we mean, because the people who are in charge of the social media and who are, funneling a bunch of money into conservative candidates and Republican candidates, like there's a feedback system in which they are not only normalizing, but seeming to prioritize the spread of misinformation. So people's daily access to information is just constantly filled with misinfo, and it's filled with stuff that's meant to make you rage out and comment. I'm like, why the fuck are you showing me right-wing stuff on my Instagram? Well, it's because it's trying to bait me into commenting on it. And I'm just like, stop showing me this. It does.
It works on
I
me.
finally
Yeah,
My
got
algorithm is all
engineering.
hate shit.
I know, it's awful.
Social engineering has worked forever. It's just now that somebody sat down with a very intelligent psychologist and a computer engineer and combined the two.
I do have
it's
to,
very,
I
very
have to-
frustrating.
I have to cut in to read a comment
ahead.
real quick, and then we'll get back to it, Stuart. I'd love to find if we disagree on something. But Stuart, somebody wrote, the fact that Jimmy the communist doesn't want to find a job and wants to sit on his ass all day, probably didn't take a shower for weeks, and debate people who do have jobs and have lives, bro, is pathetic. Boy, Sergeant Draven, first of all, so brave on the keyboard. Second of all, it's going to break your absolute heart when you find out that I run a company that has over, what are we up to? Like 25 employees now. I work basically nonstop. I probably make more money than you make. And for a hobby, I would work. I do manual labor for a hobby. And I showered last night. Also, I'm a socialist, not a communist. So you got nothing right. But I see why you don't call in, because then if you had done that live with your voice, everybody would have heard you start crying because what a little bitch you are. But it's okay, bitch boy.
Why is the point of those sorts of comments to draw in viewers or to keep them watching and mad at you? Because there's love and then there's hate. And among media people, like, you get some movie stars that everybody loves, and they come out and do one thing wrong, and all of a sudden they're at the bottom of the barrel. But the ones that you hate, you never forget, and you're always paying attention to them. Is that your objective?
I mean, people are
For people
hateful
that
in the
hate
chat,
us?
and so we're responding to that. You know, it's just kind of turn for a
No,
turn.
I'm your response to it.
Oh, you think my
I'm
response
talking
to
about
them was
your
hateful?
particular response. Yeah, is that a
Right,
persona, or is that how you actually talk to people in real life, face to face?
In
When
real life?
people are
Oh, yeah. If
assholes,
somebody,
we're going to be assholes
someone
back.
was, right. If somebody is that level of a cunt to me, of course I'll be that level of cunty back. I'm not capable of moderating like that level of the whole like, oh, meet with kindness. When they go low, you go high. I'm really good at going low.
I go
so if they
lower.
go low, I'm like, bro, wait until you see how low I can go. I'm about to show you what a fucking, what's the go under the
Agreed,
stick
and
sport
it-
called?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Keyboard
Limbo.
warriors deserve no love. Keyboard warriors deserve no love.
I will say, oftentimes,
as
I
far-
realized after I
as far as-
started that we've already suspended lines. I think in that case, I was trying to challenge the person to call in by showing what a little bitch they are, but they're going to have to wait until next time because we've calls after you. So, Stuart, what's our main point of disagreement here? Because it seems like so far we're not that far off, or maybe you're just trying to understand my position. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
but what's our
because
main point of disagreement?
I haven't listened to your show very long, and I was trying to be a little bit open-minded. But considering the universe conspired to put life on this planet, on an individual planet, and so far as popular knowledge is concerned, we're alone. We're
fairness,
lucky
popular
enough
knowledge
that,
is extremely limited.
yeah, the natural selection and its progression to this point, along with human psychological development, brain development, and everything else, we're lucky we're the species that came out on top. There's dolphins, octopi, other
Give 'em time,
things
man.
out there that has
Stuart, we are not
nearly
on top.
our stuff. What
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
wondering is why
Stuart,
you're
we
fighting
are
this
not
so
on top.
hard.
E. coli
Explain we're not on
outperforms
top.
us. We die if we are so reliant on so many microorganisms that if they abandoned us, we die and they would survive on other organisms. We are only a top amongst the, I guess you could call them macroorganisms. But if the goal of
Hold
evolution
on.
is to survive
All
and replicate, we are not winning.
So you agree that a macroorganism such as the human body is built and reliant on single cell organisms cooperating with them in order
Not
to
only single
survive other things in the environment, correct?
And yes, and the thing I added to that was, and we can't survive without them, but they can survive without us. Therefore, they are superior.
That's a physical and biological fact. Yet if you apply it to psychology and economics, it still applies. Without the stability that billionaires bring through systems like the World Economic Forum,
Even the
You think
fraud in
that
government has a
14
purpose.
million Americans being on food stamps is a stable situation?
No.
Yeah, dude.
But I also know at some point the painful
That's Walmart
lessons
not
that
paying
the
their
poor.
employees. That's Walmart siphoning
Hold
all of the
on.
money they make up to the top. No. I mean, you're not responding to the point that I'm making at all.
Allow me to make mine then.
I mean,
If
I guess,
you take
sure.
antibiotics or some other medication that kills off the bacteria in your stomach, which is, say, a billionaire taking all the food and stuff, and it kills out millions of poor through sick, through cancer,
But
through
the thing is
no
that we have
medical.
killed all the rich people
It
before.
makes them stronger.
Do you remember
makes
Hey,
Versailles?
Stuart.
the biological
He killed
entity
all of
stronger.
the rich
Does it
people,
not?
and everything was better afterwards.
Stuart,
Let me get through
hang on, Stuart.
my point.
No. I'm
I
not
don't
going to let you get through your point.
Eventually,
All right, Stuart, I'm muting you because I've told you no. And I'm going to explain this. Metaphors are used to illustrate a point to make them more graspable. Whatever the hard limits of an extended metaphor is, does not mean that is the hard limit of the subject. So if my metaphor is, well, you can't have X economy because it's like drowning. If you're underwater, you can't breathe in. I can't then extend that on to everything about it, that type of economy, and everything about water have everything in common. You just adding to the metaphor. If you're trying to say you think that's the case and illustrate your point, like the way back, but that isn't how it is. Oligarchies have fallen before. America has been less oligarchical before. They have had less income inequality before. We are at record levels. And you're just sitting there and going, just because nature has not so far come up with an adequate replacement for our microbiomes, which, by the way, was already a metaphor you began and was incorrect on when you said that we were the top, that we're above everything else. And that wasn't correct. But even if nature has yet to figure out an adequate replacement for our microbiome, does not mean that a parallel example that you're trying to illustrate that humans are incapable of coming up with something. Because Stuart, I could argue that actually a microbiome would be more like a worker co-op, where everything's working in tandem. There's probably going to be one individual or some individual who has some supervisory power and you can argue is going to benefit more than everybody else, or some groups. But the microbiome, they are going to all be supporting each other and there will be equality. I could argue easily that microbiomes are much more like socialism than they are like this billionaire thing you are going with. So now I will unmute you. Just because you're using a metaphor doesn't mean the way you can extend that metaphor out is strictly applicable. Go ahead, Stuart.
Well, I'm very some of the concepts I only know how to describe them through metaphors, so I apologize for that.
But that's not what you were doing, Stuart.
The baseline,
Stuart, that is not what you were doing.
Don't interrupt.
That is you misrepresenting what you were doing. I will interrupt because you're acting like we were failing to understand without the metaphor. You weren't trying to explain. You were extending your metaphor and saying that because this is how microbiomes work, that's how the economy, which we just compared to a microbiome, must also work because the first metaphor was apt, and you haven't demonstrated that an extended metaphor was apt. That is quite different, Stuart.
So I brought up physical stuff, I brought up the psychological stuff, and now I'm trying to bring up how natural selection works and how when you apply adversity to it, something better comes out of it. And this show may be a part of it. You've got a lot of opinions.
Okay, great.
That are
Well,
very
billionaires were
polarized.
mostly born rich, so maybe they deserve to live the lives of the poor people they exploit, because those poor people are having more adversity and getting less money, but the billionaires are having less adversity and getting more money. So this still wouldn't work for your situation because the American dream is dead. Working harder than a billionaire doesn't make you a billionaire, and working less hard than the poor doesn't make you poor. The number one indicator of your economic class is the class to which you were born in. And the systems are kept in place to the benefits of the billionaires to keep the money with them and keep it away from the poor people.
That starts with our public education system.
I mean, yeah. Do you know who chronically takes funding away from the education system?
No, it's not about funding. It's about its implementation.
Yes,
the quality of
it absolutely
education is
about funding.
directly tied to the funding. Are you serious?
Stuart,
No.
where did you get your degree in Vibenomics?
You think that being able to afford another teacher, being able to afford special needs stuff, being able to afford new computers or updated textbooks, like, are you seriously about here to try to tell me that
is like
classroom sizes?
Classroom sizes is the big one. Literally, you have to have money to have smaller classroom sizes. So you have these inner city schools where they are overcrowded, they aren't protected as well as other schools, and you have all these kids, no one's able to get individual attention, and because their funding is dependent on property taxes, but the areas that they live in are all rent controlled areas, the people, despite having good rent histories, have not been able to buy homes, so they're not even paying property taxes, not to mention all of the ways in which we've made sure these communities are poor. So where there are property taxes is low, these kids are getting stuffed in and they're basically put into a schooling factory, as opposed to like areas with a little bit more funding where class sizes get smaller, resources get bigger, and they get individual attention. And yes, outcomes for them are better, but even amongst those schools, like I went to one like that in Wyoming, it was pretty well funded. I could have gotten individual attention if I needed. Even amongst those schools, that still does not equip you with enough that simply working as hard as a millionaire will make you a millionaire. The number one way to be a millionaire is to be born a millionaire. The number one way to be middle class is to be born middle class, and the number one way to be poor is to be born poor, because the systems are created in place to keep you in your class. And we use the exceptions of that to sell the capitalist lie,
Bless you.
which is that if I moved,
If you're
you
into
can
that.
too. I was poor, and I am not now. I'm not rich, but I'm not poor now. And I can
That's 'cause
easily
you
turn that
possess
into,
the
look at
intellect.
what I did. All I did was work hard, be smart, learn my schoolings, and applied myself. And that's what did it. And meanwhile, there are people who work harder than both of us combined, Stuart, who can never escape poverty because the system is not going to let them.
Their intellectual ability combined with capability of recognizing an opportunity the way you did and realizing that they're trapped in a system is the first part.
Sir,
Our
I
school
make money as a
system
public
and the
figure.
funding behind it.
The opportunity I recognized was that I was capable of speaking to people, and then I got lucky in that the algorithm favored me one day and enough people bought into my bullshit. The amount of, by the way, the amount of luck with just genetically, I was born white, I'm average looking, I have a full beard, and I appear to have authority as a result of those things. That's the luck that meant I could be in, especially an atheist community, which is unfortunately overrepresented with people who look like me, so much so it took me 3 years to convince half the internet that I'm not TJ Kirk. That's not who I am. I'm a different guy. Okay?
So
That's
can I
the
go
luck.
back and address my original statement about the education system? It's not
Sure.
about how much money you put into it. It's its method of
it's-
delivering an education.
I mean, you're
Sure, it's a
incorrect,
final-
actually.
By the way, you can literally go to school for
and 12th
if that
grade.
was- Go ahead.
But between kindergarten and 12th grade, if you sat down and actually watched the behavior of the children and the teachers in these schools, the number one lesson isn't math, science, or history, or any of the subjects they're officially required to learn in college. The first lesson the teachers learn when they get to a school from their peers or even in college is how to manipulate children into being able to sit down, shut up, and listen to what they say. It's a psychology thing that starts from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade.
Stuart, let's say that's
We
correct.
program our
Let's say what you
kids-
just said is correct. Will a teacher be more successful if they have a smaller class or a larger classroom faced with that task?
That it doesn't matter depending on
Yes, it
the
does.
limitation.
Answer the question, Stuart.
No,
if a teacher
doesn't matter on the class size.
Stuart, then you're lying. You absolutely know you're lying. That a
no,
teacher will face
go
a
to
higher
a
challenge with a
college.
larger, controlling the behavior of a larger group of children is more difficult than a smaller group of children. You
Okay,
absolute
then let me
fucking
ask
liar that
you this
that you're saying that's
question.
not true.
And
Go
you
ahead.
explain it. Let me ask you this question. Explain the incentive of a highly respected college professor to pack a coliseum and charge $30,000 or more for him to come and speak to a group of individuals for them to pick up an ideology or skill in order to advance their lives. What is the method that college professor, a highly educated and respected person, got those asses in the seats and told them to be quiet and listen to what I say? What is the one
You
word
literally answered the
that-
Stuart, you literally answered the question, and it's the one we said from the beginning. You literally said, you described the amount of money the kids electing to be there paid. So the children that are there
So it's
are
incentive.
not everybody.
It's incentive
The
for the
children who
students.
can afford to be there and want to be there are the children who are there. It's almost like the financial reality, the funding, the dollars, the cents. It's almost like that's what did it, Stuart.
That's an economical standpoint. What is the reward for the average poor person to go to school?
The promise that we have given them that they will have access to higher economic opportunity if they get an education. That's the promise we make to them, whether we deliver it or not.
That is the
Okay,
promise
great.
that
What
I was
is it, Stuart? Whose mind is so much higher than everybody else, but didn't understand that a small group of children is easier to behaviorally control than a large group? Go ahead, Stuart. Tell me. I'm wrong.
The way we get small children in poor communities into
That's not what you
schools
asked.
is by having punitive laws against
That
the
is not
parents.
what you said. You asked what the incentive is, as in, what are we going to give you for doing this? And that is an education, which with the promise that that will give you access to better economic opportunities. If you had asked me, why are kids in school? What's the number one reason why kids are there? It's because they don't have much choice but otherwise to be. So before you say wrong, maybe you should make sure that you're even capable of asking a comprehensive question.
Law. I understand that some of my questions aren't communicated
Stuart, that's not
properly.
correct. You also just said something wrong. Again, you are not required by law to put your kids into public school. You are required by law to provide them an education, and even there are religious exemptions, but you are not required to put them in school.
How many people know these exemptions and are able to affect them in their own lives without?
Okay, Stuart, I will answer that as soon as you change your sentence to begin with. You're technically correct, and I was wrong when I said that they must.
Okay.
That pride too high, huh, Stuart?
Their
You can't admit when you're wrong.
If their perception
Here's your final thought, Stuart.
is that
Go ahead.
they must.
Share your finals.
A lot of society right now is in a lot of turmoil, and people are looking for answers. And your show popped up on my algorithm as one of those that I thought I might be able to bring some influence to. And
well, the billionaires are more powerful than ever, Stuart. And your argument seems to be that when the billionaires are better, we're all doing better. And I don't think people see
you
that.
wouldn't let me get to my final point. Is that the billionaires are a synonym for the human body and how it works with all the microorganisms in it. And when the microorganisms evolve and overcome that, they cause the larger portion to readapt to the situation.
Great.
So if all us peons get on the same page, we can force them to make the world that we live in better. And that may be what your show is
later
about.
on,
I haven't
maybe
listened to it for so long.
Sex is pizza, so next time you have sex, cover your partner with cheese. Good. Have a good day, Stuart. Because you say something as a metaphor doesn't mean it's apt. Okay, guys? Like, that's how it is. All right. We only got a couple
At least
of these
he tried to
left.
say, let's overthrow the billionaires at the end.
I don't know if he was saying that. William in
Or he was
Virginia,
at least saying we need to change them.
Sure. Well, he still wants the billionaires to be there. They're the pillars. We'll die without them.
Mm-hmm.
Will in Virginia. Will, you are on the line with Luxander and Jimmy. We're going to probably make this one a little bit fast because I have a hunger.
Okay, sounds great. It's great to talk to y'all.
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing, Will? How old are you?
I am 21.
21. Did you vote in this recent election where your state government turned from red to blue?
I did not, no, sir. Didn't have the opportunity to. I'm currently at college, so.
You can absentee vote from college. No one told you?
I know. I didn't get the chance to.
Okay. It's by mail, but okay, that's fine. Whatever it is what it is. Well, it looks like you're conservative, so I don't lament that you didn't vote. I think conservatives should avoid voting. Stop ruining it for the rest of us. All right. Well, what point did you want to call in with?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say that I would not say that I am exactly pro-MAGA, but I am conservative and Republican. Additionally, I just want to say that I have heard a few of the debates recently, and I don't want to come in here and be, I guess, hostile, as you would say, but I would love to find some common ground if we could find some.
I like vanilla ice cream. I doubt we have a political common ground. I think conservatism is anti-humanist. I'm a humanist, so we can bond over food if you want, or hobbies. I'm a woodworker. You like woodworking?
I do, but I wouldn't say that we would not be able to find any common ground. I would hope.
What's
that
your favorite category of porn? You go to Pornhub, you hit the categories tab. What are you clicking on?
I'm a Christian man, sir.
Okay, right. So you definitely watch porn, since the stats we have from Pornhub is that Christian areas actually consume porn more the more religious they are. So, Will, you're saying you're a Christian, so you can't tell me. Too. It's a secret. I got it. That's okay. It's okay. Categories wise, I like a lot of things. Who can pick just one? I get it. All right, well, let's try and find some common ground politically. What political common ground do you think we have?
Well, I just wanted to maybe debate on capitalism and also possibly immigration if we could. Just to see
Let's
if there's
just stick to capitalism because we've done immigration to death today.
Okay, absolutely.
Go ahead. I believe that capitalism is an old, expired, if it was ever useful, as we march toward the pure automation of literally everything, where no job will be safe from automation. That it's already been an expired concept, and that we are actually disrespecting our children and our future societies by not abandoning capitalism for something that will take care of everybody. What say you?
Well, as far as as AI and whatnot, I think that's where we do have common ground. I'm not a huge supporter of that, but as far as capitalism, like some of the topics you were talking about as far as tax the rich and taxing like large business owners, I don't exactly agree on that.
Yes, you do. You just did by accident. You didn't realize it. The only way to stop, you don't support AI. Would you stop its development in replacing humans then?
I don't think that I would fully stop its development, no, but I don't think that it should be fully immersed into all of our jobs, if you see what I'm saying.
Then you're not a capitalist, because the billionaires that you are calling in to defend the existence of are why that's happening and why you and everybody else. What are you studying, Will? What job are you trying to go into?
I am studying business, more the management side though.
Great. You will not be a business manager when you are 30. You will not make it to my age in your career path.
I don't think that I agree with that, but that's okay. I'm not here to fully argue with you.
Here's the thing. Even just saying you don't agree with it, there was you're not sure. I can tell. So you must be at least aware that threat exists. That the path you're going down is very much at threat of being replaced by algorithms and by machines that can determine. By the way, even if your job somehow didn't go away, again, who's going to support your job? Because we know within 5 years, it's 15% of the industry 15% of the economy won't have jobs. And then you're 9 years away. You take out 15% of the jobs, you've already destroyed the country. So there is no solution to the overtake of the American worker, even if it's not your job. If you are naive enough to think yours is safe, you must know most people's aren't safe, and there is no capitalist way to prevent that from happening.
I wouldn't agree that everything would be able to be fully autonomous.
Like what?
That's just my opinion, though.
What is AGI?
AGI. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with the term, and I'm not going to pretend that I do know what it is. Of course.
AGI stands for artificial general intelligence. Basically, we are getting to a place where human intelligence will be matched. In other words, for you to say they won't be able to replace everything, if you don't accept what we are on pace to develop, which will probably include literal mappings, like literal replications of the human brain in artificial form. So it's like very much a clone of a human brain running just on a computer. It'll have consciousness, it'll have everything else. That is the path we're on. So how, if at the bottom you have humans and then you have robots who can do everything humans are capable of, either specializing or generally, how do you suspect humans won't be replaced in every avenue?
I don't think that you can take away the human, I would say, senses or like creativity and such. Like, I don't believe that you can really replicate that.
Does creativity happen in the brain?
Absolutely, it does.
What function of the brain, which is its cells and its electricity? We are meat robots. By the way, you're even going with creativity. Those are the jobs already being lost. Wedding photographers and photographers in general are being replaced by AI because you can have somebody go out with an iPhone and have AI create a bunch of phony shit that looks beautiful. Right? But also like just in general, people getting their own photos done. You can make your regular Instagram photos look professionally produced, even though some asshole took them of you. I'm the asshole usually in this scenario. I was a professional photographer before I was a YouTuber. There would not be a job for me now. So much of that commercial stuff. You know who else is gone? Copywriters, editors. They're losing jobs. Like literally the creative industry is the first industry AI is already getting rid of, because being creative doesn't mean creative people won't exist. It means, will I pay a premium to have a human create something that I get the satisfaction of knowing a human made it, or will I pay much less money for something that can be tuned to my perfect exactly what I want? Will I pay $5 for an app that gets me a photo album of my perfect wedding day? Or will I pay $8,000, which is on the cheap end, for a wedding photographer to do that whole setup and take it all? People opt for the $5. So Will, even the example you're giving so far of what AI won't be able to do, it's already put creative people out of business. There are books written by AI. The country music charts just had an AI song top the charts. Granted, it's country music, but it's coming for real music too.
Right. Of course. I don't disagree that AI is possibly taking over a lot of jobs that we may be taking now. But as far as innovation growing, I don't know that they will be able to expand for AI as far as AI being able to take over those jobs.
AI will have reached human levels intelligence in the next decade is the estimate. So if it literally can be a human brain just ran on a computer, why, and then you can build on top of it further, why would it not?
I mean, honestly, I don't have an exact answer, but I wouldn't say that you could teach like intuition and emotion and whatnot. Like,
why?
Can you really program those things perfectly?
First, two questions,
with
Will.
Human emotion.
If it happens in the brain, why wouldn't you be able to? And two, what jobs are better because of human emotion? Mechanics, or what's the number one job for what is it? White men without a degree. It's truck driving. Would you rather have a person who's emotional and can drink, is reliant on their food? Or would you like a perfect machine? And if you take just that job away, as Elon Musk is currently working on, you've already destroyed the economy, because you don't have to take away everything from the industry. You only have to destabilize a small percentage, 5% of the economy, and you've fucked it. And then recovering that while all the other shits are coming. Will, I was getting a little heated, but I'm realizing you're like, I don't mean this to sound condescending like the guy before. You're 21 and you have hopes. You haven't found out yet that you're fucked. Like, you are so fucked. And I'm realizing I should be using a more compassionate tone, because it's not your fault that no one has laid out just how absolutely fucked you are.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I agree with that, but that is of course your all's opinion, and that's perfectly fine.
It'll be based on data. I wouldn't just give it off as like this is my faith versus your faith. I know you believe in that Jesus stuff. This isn't faith based. This is based on data. This is based on what we're already seeing. AI is already causing tremendous economic reduction. Like, it is fucking people now, Will. And it is growing. Oh man, I should show you all. I wish I could. I don't have a way to load it in. I gave AI a single picture of me and 30 seconds of audio, and it popped out a 2-minute clip of me speaking off one photo that I guarantee you 70% of people wouldn't be sure it was AI. Anyone who knew me would, because they'd see certain things in my face weren't changing. And if you watch past a certain point, I'd have to clip it so you don't see the weird mouth movements as much. Legitimately.
Yeah, it's like after 10 seconds, they kind of freak out a little bit.
Right. And that's now. A year from now, it's going to be fucking crazy.
And honestly, like, we're having an AI conversation right now in the context of a conversation about capitalism, right? And like billionaires and stuff. So even if it doesn't get crazy advanced and take all of the coding jobs or all of the creative jobs, the simple fact that going to the grocery store or ordering food at fast food, I have in the past gone to a McDonald's where my order was taken by a robot at the kiosk thing, and then like I drove around and there was a thing that just like spat my food out, and I never interacted with a human person in the entire interaction. And like there's the little things at the Taco Bell where you have to order on the screen now. We're losing low skill jobs that are like the kind of jobs that poor people need to be able to afford to pay rent and eat food.
Will,
and
try
that
not
is
to breathe into
already
your phone.
destabilizing. Yeah, you're super mouth breathing into the phone and it's real weird.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
But what Jimmy was trying to say earlier was that there is no capitalist solution to that problem. The solution to even a couple percentage points, like you recognize that the difference of like 8% unemployment and 10% unemployment is devastating to an economy. And like the idea here is that the only way to address that is by a socialist policy such as universal basic income, to ensure that people can still pay their rent, even though they don't have access to the grocery store jobs that they would have had before.
Yeah, that's at minimum. Will, do you know what the billionaires' solution is? What the billionaires say when they're asked, what about when you put everybody out of jobs?
I do not know, sir.
They literally say they'll get new jobs. Because anytime we've innovated in the past, it created new jobs. But the innovations in the past weren't creating total human replacements. It was, here's a robot that will help humans do something. Someone needs to manage the robots. As we're building these robots to replace us, we're building the robots to fix the robots too. We're not, there isn't, and by the way, even then, innovation still destabilized the economy and still put people, like, recovering from that took forever. So we literally only have like, socialism, to put it nicely, communism's an inevitability or the destruction of humanity when that much is covered. I'm going to try and show you, Will. I don't know if you can see it from there. Do you have like the TV on or anything?
No, sir.
Okay. I was going to show you, like, I'm going to show it to the audience. This is that video that I had. I gave it one picture and 30, not even 30 seconds of my voice, 3 sentences.
Doesn't exist. The voice, the jokes, the chemistry between co-hosts, all generated
Okay, co-host
by AI
is a
in
giveaway.
under 3 minutes. And here's what nobody's telling you. The technology to replace every podcast you listen to already exists. It's not coming in 5 years.
It's not
Weird.
that good to show a camera of a camera. And
I could definitely see the weird AI stuff about it.
Well, it's mostly that it was again one photo. Like
that's incredible.
One photo. And if you didn't know who I
though.
was, and you didn't know that my face doesn't have a permanent wrinkle down there, except when I'm making one face,
yeah,
most people aren't going to know. Anyone who knows me will. Co-host is a giveaway. One picture and less than 30 seconds of audio. Think about systems right now that instead of a picture can be trained on videos. Thinking about the fact that there are college campuses that are making sure everybody knows about these different AI tools where you can plug in like a person's Instagram and get what are disturbingly accurate nudes of what that person would look like naked. Right. This is literally a problem at college campuses. Hopefully not yours, Will. This is like the way AI is being used is to replace people and to exploit people and bypass their consent. That's where we are. Like it's just bananas. BANANAS. Anyway, Will,
True.
I think we've more given you stuff to think about. If you want to contend, you can, but I might suggest, why don't you think about it and call us back?
That's perfectly fine with me. I am happy to think about it. That's fine
Just
with
think
me.
about, Will, this will be the question I have for you next time. Let's hope you're right and there will be jobs for everybody and there's a capitalist way everyone can survive. But you're acknowledging there's the risk we can't. So let's just say, account for the risk, the chance, a decent chance that most people's jobs are gone in the future. It'll be a small minority. What solution could we possibly implement that is capitalist to make sure that people don't starve, they aren't living in desperate poverty, they aren't having to compete amongst themselves and kill each other for resources, like a thing that takes care of people the way your Jesus would take care of them. Okay? That's going to be my question. What capitalist solution will if let's say 10% of jobs are safe in a world where 90% of people lose their jobs, what capitalist solution do we have for them? All right.
So just so I'm clear, your solution to that is socialism?
Oh, to begin, yeah. At the end stage will almost certainly be communism. It'll almost be like a Wall-E-esque world, except for Ozempic exists. You'll just, when you want to do what you want to do, people will do what they want. They won't have to, we'll actually go toward a world where people are taken care of because we have the resources for everyone to just take care of each other. We already know that in societies, when that means people still need to do stuff for each other, they tend to, because when you actually are allowed to do what you want, taking care of other people ends up being a high priority on a lot of people's lists. There's going to be some group of people
still
who are
work.
Assholes. And
people want to contribute. They want to work.
Right. If anything, they'll be trying harder to contribute in a meaningful way that works for them. So yeah, Will, absolutely. We have the resources to do it. We just take care of it. Money will become a novel concept in the future because it has to. So just Wall-E but plus Ozempic, and the world doesn't look like a giant. That Wall-E was about pollution, so I'm more talking about the society not having to worry about shit on the ship. The pollution thing, hopefully, we would solve too.
All right. Well, thank y'all.
Yep. Thanks, Will.
Thanks, Will.
And then, Sean, I'm afraid we're going to keep this quick, but you'll be our last call of the day. Sean, a Tennessee conservative, wants us to know that the Democratic Party is failing. They're more working for billionaires than they are the little man. Largest union in America didn't endorse Kamala. All right, so I'm just going to quick address that. Failing, I don't know about that. They just had a pretty good set of elections. They turned a red state blue for the governorship. They're more for working billionaires than they are the little man. That's been true for a long time, certainly since Citizens United. Totally don't disagree there. The largest union in America didn't endorse Kamala because of racism and sexism. It had nothing to do with whether or not they were more for the working man. Anybody could have made a very obvious demonstration. She was much better for unions and much better for people. And the dude at the top wasn't going to ruffle the feathers of all of the unfortunate racists and sexists who work in unions. My dad was a union man, and definitely they wouldn't have done that shit. So, Sean, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, so I know got to make it quick, but anecdotes. How do you feel about that? I mean, you just used one with your dad as an example.
I use an anecdote to illustrate. However, the data and the actual facts and information out there, I believe, also supports my thing. So saying, for example, that she is better for people in unions, her democratic policies as laid out on her site were pro-union. It's not really a question. Donald Trump has ran very anti-union while trying to be like cool with certain unions that promote him, but he's against the concept of unionization, as he's obviously employed union busting in the past. So anecdotes are used to illustrate. It is not the basis of my argument. And I think you meant anecdotes, not antidotes.
Yeah, well, mispronunciation. Sorry.
It's all good.
So yes, the Teamsters, the largest union in America, did not endorse her. You know, some people could say factually, if somebody claims racism, there's a lot of claims that are being made about people that aren't necessarily true. There are other unions that did not support Kamala as well, such as the firefighters union,
Kamala.
I think the longshoremen's, Kamala, yes. The firefighters union, the longshoremen, I think is another one.
I believe the analysis of every one of them is that every union that didn't, aside from the Teamsters has a little bit more diversity, but every union that didn't were almost all the super male dominated unions that have very little women representation. And as I assume you know, because these things are studied, Sean, and I assume you would have looked these things up, Black women in our society are literally considered the bottom rung of society by the other people in society. The only people perceived less than that would be trans people. And
right.
Don't try being a trans Black woman. It sucks in America.
Yeah, I know that the data definitely points to all that, which it really shouldn't. I've worked for a unionized company before, ABF, the largest trucking company that is a union in America. Seeing these things and kind of talking to these individuals about what they're going through, a lot of them, and this is in Atlanta, by the way, a heavily Democratic city, and talking to these individuals, they were kind of telling me what they're going through, what they've gone through. Now, granted, this was during COVID, so Joe Biden was in office. And they were just saying how everything being handled by the Democratic Party is not turning out how they wanted it to go. I know I heard you earlier talking about immigration. Not going to get into that a lot, but when you bring people into America that are willing to work for pennies on the dollar, that's only going to lower wages in certain areas where there's more immigrants coming in. That's a conservative myth. In fact, it actually supports the local economies and arms local economies to pay better. The number one reason wages are down is because you won't do anything if billionaires lower your wages. Billionaires are making more than ever. These companies are making more than ever. Their profits are bigger than ever. That should translate into their employees are making more than ever, and they're not. In fact, many companies announced freezing wages while announcing their biggest profits of a quarter, biggest profits of a year. My brother works for one such company. Again, an anecdote to illustrate the point. Billionaires are the reason why wages go down, because as far as wages go, having the local support of people supporting your economy is actually better for your local economy. So small businesses, wages often go up when there are more immigrants supporting their economy. It is the large businesses and billionaires are the ones not raising wages, freezing wages while having record profits. While I don't disagree that wages can be raised by billionaires, listening to you a little bit earlier, it can definitely happen. It should happen.
Why doesn't it?
When I was interviewed, because they don't want to.
Do you know why?
Because they like their money.
If I make $100 billion, if I'm a CEO of a company and I make $100 billion in profit this year, and then next year I make $100 billion, am I considered a success or a failure?
Wait, state that again. I'm sorry. You kind of bleeped
Let's
out
say 2 years in a row as a CEO, I make the company $100 billion in profits. Am I considered a success or a failure?
You make the company $100 billion in profit?
Correct.
Is that what you? I mean,
Yep.
you could see it as more so of a success than
Nope.
not.
Not in our economy, because in America, you are measured by the difference in the amount of profits, because that's what the stock market runs on, not the profits you make. So the fact that you have $100 billion of profit doesn't matter. It matters that your share value is stagnant. So that $100 billion you could have spent on raising the wages of your workers, you didn't, because you needed that number to be 90 billion this year and 100 billion the next year, or you needed 110 billion this year. And if you were to raise the workers' wages, you might only have increased it by 1 billion. It might only be 100 to 101, which is only 1% growth. Your investors are expecting a return of at least 3 to 5%. It might even be higher than that. I think 8% is what CEOs are generally growing for. So the number one way to increase profits to the point that you get it, you hit your goals, is to reduce wages or freeze wages, to not keep them up. That's why capitalism fails, Sean, because you are incentivized to fuck. Right. And by the way, how do they reduce margins?
They try to find, well, for one, cheaper labor. If you're going to hire
and how do they make cheaper?
that has,
how do they do cheaper labor?
Well, they'll hire people that are willing to take the cheaper labor.
Right. So they fire you. They replace you with somebody who's not only willing to take a lesser wage, but who will also do 50% of the job that the guy who worked next to you was doing also. So now they're going to ask for give less money for 1.5. This guy's desperate because he just got fired from this exact cycle from the other rich company across the street that's doing it too. You guys are just switching companies and your wages are going down. Your skill set's the same. The same group of people knows you can just make it 5 companies. 5 companies have a group of 100 people. And if they just keep rotating them around every time you move, you either make less money or the money that you're making has less power because of inflation, because cost of living has gone up, and they just keep rotating you. So instead of you needing your annual raise, your cost of living raise each month, nah, just go to the next company, and which you will thank them for giving you a job, even though these billionaires are very much, if those 5 companies aren't already owned by the same guy in the end, they're very much in cahoots and they're very much using the same financial companies to advise them on how. So cutting margins comes in the form of firing people and hiring somebody cheaper to do more labor, and using that cycle as you automate more of their job so they can do more and more to purge out more people and keeping only a very small group of people on as cogs you find necessary. Like every step of the way, right. Billionaire greed is the problem you have, Sean, and yet it seems like you're about to defend keeping the billionaires rich.
No, what you said in your statement kind of proved a point of mine. People who are willing to take a lesser wage, i.e., immigrants, because the jobs that they're normally taking are unskilled labor.
Sean, I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about like level 1 engineers at tech companies that are doing basic level troubleshooting. I literally data, and I could list you at least 11 people. Immigrants are mostly working hard labor jobs Americans don't want. They're not coming in and taking
not
those.
Not necessarily.
The supply chain disruptions that we're experiencing are because a bunch of people have been removed from the job market and we do not have a replacement job market. White people are not coming in here saying, let me pick 8 buckets of fruit for 2 cents per bucket or whatever the fuck. It's crazy. The wages are so low. And that's why we're having supply chain shortages.
Literally, Donald Trump just lost Nick Fuentes because he's like, turns out I need 800,000 Chinese people because Americans don't have the skills the Chinese do.
Oh my God, true.
Right, and I would much rather Americans be taught these skills and trades. Like the young man before me going to college, getting his degree. I'm 34. I went to college, got my degree, and I'm an operations manager. That's what I went to school for. And
and you won't be when you're 50.
I'm hoping that I'll have enough to, not retire by that age, but find and hone my skills to become something more, because I am getting my master's in supply chain management as well. But back
Sean,
to the point,
if you're not a millionaire in the next 2 years, you're fucked. It might, maybe you have a little more than 2 years, but no. The way the world is being automated, there is a shorter and shorter period of time that any chance of working your way up to a higher position is getting more and more locked out. And anybody who isn't filthy rich, if we do not implement, I'm sorry, Sean, it's socialism at minimum, you're fucked.
No, and
What's your solution?
I don't necessarily. Well, it depends on the industry that you're in also.
Doesn't.
Like, for instance, I'm an operations manager for a facilities maintenance company. Yes, there are some things that AI can come in and replace, i.e. robot, like janitorial, for instance, is part of the branch that I manage, and I've got several workers and accounts underneath me.
What do you think they couldn't replace?
Right now, well, for one, individuals are, depending on the account that I manage, depends on the cleanliness needs, right? So I can go straight from manufacturing to office space to school space. The problem that robots and AI are having right now is they can really only go in straight lines. Yes, we actually have robots that go through the hallways, mop, sweep, do all of that. Cool. That saves me about, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour's worth of labor when the robot costs $50,000 to $60,000 in the first place. Yes, things are going to get cheaper.
Sorry, Sean,
over time,
$50,000 to $60,000 once, and as you said, cheaper over time. $50,000 to $60,000 to get what dollar amount of labor out of it that right now is that cost in human labor? For $50,000 to $60,000. Go ahead.
We're paying $18 to $20 an hour. We do hire more part-timers, individuals that do have a full-time job during the day. So what, $18 an hour, you're looking at $36,000 in a year-ish.
And you feel economically secure against when robots are mainstream and they are priced like everybody's getting them, as opposed to priced now where they are still in like their beta phases and you have to pay the development premium?
Yes, and the reason I'm going to say that is because robots, until AI or robotics has gotten to a point where that robot can fully act and function as a human being without going crazy and spazzing out because its hat fell off of its head. I don't know if you saw that video or not, but humans were able to move things around and put them back in place. We're able to look at the environment that we're in and figure out what needs to be done first. Programming a robot doing that, yeah, you have to get it set up one time, but the technology for that to happen is several years down the road when you have robots that are the one that I was talking about earlier. No, it's
the global economy
is so much sooner. Sean, it is so much sooner than you think it is.
So what model robot are you referring to? Because the one that I referred to, it was...
Sean, I don't know which one's going to be the one. I know that right now, the future of robotics is actually happening mostly on the software side. Hardware side of it is such a lesser thing to actually solve that literally people with 3D printers are throwing their hats in the ring. It is the software and the learning side where things are happening. And by the way, some of the things that are being learned by robots are more impressive than the complexities of a cleaning job, learning to drive, for example. And so, Sean, it is wild to me when anybody calls in with anything, which the skill you are describing is a repetitive task. With some adaptations into it, sure, but it's a repetitive task nonetheless. Sean, I wouldn't put yours in like the last 60%. Like you're in the first 2 or 3 rounds of job replacements. Certainly your employees are. You in your supervisory position may get to supervise robots for a while, even as you train a robot yourself to do your job.
Well, the thing about facilities maintenance is it's never the same thing every day. That's what gives job security to this industry.
In the way you think of it, it's not the same every day, but it is fundamentally the same every day. The way you think of like,
and janitorial is just one branch that I manage. We manage anything from HVAC all the way to mechanical. We have engineers that come in that do that. You know, you were talking a little bit earlier about AI replacing engineers. You know, to write the code for that, yes, they could do that, but the actual physical replacement of these parts and these compressors, generators, it takes, you know, skilled labor to do that. And I do oversee those parts and aspects of that job as well.
I don't know how to
until a
not sound
robot
like
is
an
able
asshole.
to do that.
The way,
No, go ahead and say it.
Yeah, like 3 years from now, brother. I am right now watching my own neighborhood get developed. The houses are coming like Lego pieces, where like all of the 2x4s are already pre-assembled and everything, and they just go over to the foundation, which is also like measured out by lasers and a rope. They're one step away short of just 3D printing. So at this point, when you're talking about HVAC, robots are going to be way better at HVAC than humans. They can fit into places humans. You don't have to limit yourself to the human shape as far as maintenance goes. And then as far as installation goes, we're already making the directions toward you build a house in this way, thus that a robot can more easily lay out these things. And it's just going to follow. It's going to look cable managed much better. It's going to be, I do love a good cable management. It's going to be
I need
beautiful.
to get a robot in here to manage all my cables. It's fucked looking right now.
There are times when people come in
robot.
and they call them with a real challenge where it's like, all right, how's it going to replace a lawyer? Which doesn't have to replace a lawyer. It has to replace 90% of the lawyer's job. So now you only need one lawyer to do 10 times as many cases. But either way, that one at least sounds like a challenge. Sean, it's like you're calling in. I don't mean to like condescend to your job and your sector, but it's like you're asking me, how is AI going to replace vending machines? I'm like, my guy, it's coming for you. Top of the list.
Well, you know, there are some things that you say that I don't disagree with, but until I physically see a robot being able to get into certain places where, and you said smaller robots, yeah, like what's a smaller robot going to cost? Because I can tell you the robot that we have now is, you know, at certain accounts anywhere from $50,000 to $60,000, and
I just
robot
want to
breaks down
reiterate.
quite
I
often.
said this earlier. It doesn't need to come for every single person's job in order for it to destabilize our economy in a way that causes thousands of people to starve to death. Like it does
and
not
then
need
you
to
have
be
less
replacing
clients.
you personally.
Though, Sean, if enough, you also get replaced if your job just disappears because so many people lost their jobs that you don't have clients to serve. Like the other people losing their jobs means you lose your job too. But you also don't, Sean, you have a $50,000 to $60,000 robot where you work now. Is that what you said?
Yeah, at one of the accounts. It's not one that I manage, but all it does is basically sweeps and mops the floor.
Great. So if you just had, how many people can having a robot do all of the mopping and the sweeping replace? And now you have, okay, the sweeping and the mopping takes this. So now the remainder of the jobs, instead of having to be done 20 people at this job, can actually be done by only 14 people. Okay, but now we got the ones that can eliminate all of the dust and clean all the surfaces. Now we're down to 8. And now I, as the supervisor, am no longer supervising just these 8 people in this one crew. I now have to supervise 30 crews of 8 since I'm doing less for each one. So my money hasn't actually gone up, but I'm doing a much more significant job. Oh, and now we just got a robot where it's 4 each. And now we're down to, like, Sean, you don't see the slow march to the death of your job? I'm not telling you need to go eat Elon Musk, but he's building the humanoid robots. I'm not saying eat them.
If it does happen in 3 years, how's about this? I'll be like, hey, is this the TJ Kirk show? And then call into you and
I'm not saying your job's gone in 3 years.
Right.
I'm saying the capabilities you're describing are 3 years from now, or a lot of advancements are 3 years from now. And that if you haven't locked in a place protected by the rich class in that time, it's probably going to be too late. And basically at that point, we will, as a society, have to start working toward socialism or communism, or we will see basically a class genocide.
Feudal technocracy.
And another thing is America already has socialist programs as well. I mean, Social Security,
it's the
I believe,
capitalism
started
that's killing
off as
us.
Yeah, I mean, should people pay more in taxes if they do make more? Yes, of course they should. But just one of those aspects of why the Democratic Party isn't doing well. Why? And I get what you said about the racism and the feminism aspect of it. There's other things that the Democratic Party has done that's not, going so hot for them. The whole Epstein thing, they finally released documents. How much of it is true, I don't know. But I do know prior to that, when Trump was wanting to release the documents, there were two, I think, judges in New York that blocked the transcripts from being released.
Sean, what specifically did they block?
Something, I think, it was something with the Florida's 11th Circuit law.
Grand jury testimony, which is almost impossible to get released, and presidents don't even bother because of it. So it was the grand jury testimony, the grand jury documents. The vote that the Epstein vote that just happened this week, was the grand jury documents a part of that?
That I don't know. I really haven't been.
The answer is no.
With it.
So the files that Donald Trump tried to, quote unquote, tried to release, everyone knew in advance would not work because of what they were. That is the nature of grand jury testimony. He only tried to release things.
Did they need to?
So the judges blocked it.
Did they need to be revised?
Nope. Grand jury shit doesn't go out. It just doesn't happen. This is a precedent. It's very rare for it to happen because it puts too many people in danger for it to. And that's not where the important stuff is. The important stuff is in all the files that finally got voted on. So this whole thing of Donald Trump only, quote unquote, tried to get released, and not even him, his DOJ, because he's not supposed to be in charge of the DOJ, but we recognize he is. He only tried to get things released that he was not ever going to be able to get released. The files that they just voted on for the last 303 days, I guess now it's moot because the law's been passed. He could have released them himself. He did not need an act of Congress. Instead, he obstructed their release. He tried to get the discharge petition when it became clear that one person was going to be the 218th vote, called in Nancy Mace, called in Lauren Boebert, and tried to bully them into pulling their names off of the discharge petition. Only when it was told to him there is no way to stop it, it's going to happen. And when it happens, people are going to vote for it publicly, and they will be defecting from what you're saying. And so we're about to see what will look like a ginormous Republican defection. Only then did he go, no, I'm crazy about it. Let's release it. Let's release. Donald Trump has only tried to obstruct the actual files. Donald Trump is either a pedophile or protecting pedophiles. There is no third option.
Another thing I want to know is why wasn't it released 4 years ago, though?
Sure. Under Biden, there was only a very small window of time under Biden where Biden could have. There was an active open investigation during that small window of time. That was the election season. And so essentially Merrick Garland, first of all, Joe Biden never breached the DOJ separation, even when his son was being targeted. In fact, he famously hated Merrick Garland for going after his son. So Donald Trump or Merrick Garland, Biden never did breach that and never ordered it. So it would have been up to Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland never arrested Donald Trump for multiple crimes that Donald Trump, there was adequate evidence to indict him, never had him arrested, and was pushing it off until after the election because Merrick Garland is an old school, don't do anything that even looks like you're trying to interfere with the election. That is most likely the reason. Now, that said, I am fine with anybody saying they also think Joe Biden was corrupt and probably protecting people in those files. Because I have no good reason to believe him above that. And I have enough decent reasons to believe that he probably would protect Democrat pedophiles if they benefited enough. So I have no problem saying there's a chance Joe Biden did it because of corruption. No problem with that. It's crazy that MAGA won't admit that that's why, not you, MAGA won't admit. And they'll say the same thing. They'll be like, well, why not the 4 years prior? Why not the 4 years prior? And it's like, probably corruption. Now you answer. Why are you guys only whataboutisming? That's a fun word to try and say as a verb.
Whataboutism.
Why is this what you're resorting to? Whataboutisming. I added an ing to it. Stop whatabouting would be the actual correct form. Why? Like, I don't give a shit.
Like, we also don't like the
no,
Democrats.
you're
Like, Sean,
right.
you started this, Sean, by being like, the Democrat Party is failing, and like Jimmy took that argument at face value. But also, we're socialists. Like, we don't like the Democratic Party either. We think they suck. We think it sucks that actual left-leaning beliefs are not at all represented in this country, and it's a wash.
No, like, when I called in the lady, very sweet, by the way, she said, what are
She's
you? And I
hot, too.
said, well, I'm like centrist. Too hot. What?
She's hot too.
I said, I'm. Oh, I said I'm more centrist with conservative values, and to me, conservative values is, keeping things American values, which sometimes that's a little bit of a hard question to answer depending on who you ask. But to me, at least, it's always, be a good person, try to do the right thing, even though it might affect you in a negative way. And, when the Epstein files weren't released 4 years ago, of course, you've got both sides arguing and pointing the fingers at one. I just want them released. I mean,
and they're not going to be, Sean, you're not going to get them now either. Donald Trump commanded the DOJ to open an investigation last week, knowing the files were coming out, because that is all they need now to redact and hold back a bunch of the documents. We're going to see more documents. They're going to release the ones that hurt Democrats, and they are going to hold back under the guise that they're open investigations, so they can't release them. So,
it's
Sean,
be redacted. Yeah.
Right. You're still not going to see it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give your final thoughts here, Sean. It's been a good conversation. I hope we get to talk more about things we more disagree on in the future, but I'm ready to go. I'm starving.
Mm-hmm.
No, I got it. I guess the last thing that I will say, you were talking about
how hot the screener is. After this is over, I'm going to go find the screener and I'm going to touch her ass. The call screener is my girlfriend, Sean.
Okay. I was like,
yeah, I'm not being weird.
With everything going on in the government, and the main point that I was bringing up, wages and stuff like that, and you have Democrats getting upset with wage fares against what billionaires are and are not doing. Some of the loudest voices in the Democratic Party, not saying Republicans do it either, because a lot of Republicans are millionaires off of government subsidies and, slush funds. But the ones that I see getting more mad about it are the Democrats, when you have people like Nancy Pelosi. Granted, Bernie Sanders has been in the government for decades now. And then you have some California representatives who have also made millions of dollars getting upset at billionaires. You have millionaires getting mad at billionaires is what I see. It'd be a different story.
Well,
if the
AOC's not a
Republicans started
millionaire, if
doing
that
the
makes you
same
feel
thing.
any better. AOC's not a
That's why I didn't include
millionaire.
her.
Bernie didn't become a millionaire off of being in Congress. He did off of writing books, and had some douchey responses when people asked him about that. But I agree, it would be better if we had representation down with. Sean, you know what I think would be a simple solution would be, one, even pay Congress a little bit more, but cut off their ability to receive any other
Term
incomes.
limits.
That would be good. Term limits would be good. Also, I think that if you run for office, you should have to live in public housing for at least some period of time, so you are amongst the people that you should be working for. I also think that we should actually discourage rich people from being in. We should make it, there should be a requirement before you, right now, if you run for, or if you go to prison, you're probably going to afterwards have to do a bunch of community service. But if you have the power to feed the people in the land, you don't ever have had to have done a nice thing for fucking anybody ever. So I think a very high amount of community service hours should be required every year from everyone, including the president. And we should not give them like easy loopholes of like, oh, well, I'm making clay pottery at home for veterans. You got to go do fucking something. You got to go feed people super shit.
One last thing, I promise, and I'll be done. I just want to get your opinion on this. So if individuals that are in the government allow the GDP to drop below a certain point, should they be kicked out?
On the basis of GDP, I doubt that very much. If we're talking about my ideal government,
But do you think so?
I don't think. Huh?
But do you think so? Like, if you're not doing a good job, you get fired.
The question, but that wouldn't be a perfect solution right now, because it's like, whose problem was it? Whose fault was it? Like right now, Donald Trump has all the branches of government, but would you kick Biden out of his job if in his last 2 years he didn't hit some mark when he literally had? Then all you would have is every time that the House changed seats, changed power balance, the House's whole goal would be to just get the guy fired. Like it would be the things would no longer be about trying to succeed. It'd be about trying to make the other side fail, which is already kind of happening. And that would just explode and be worse. I'm more recall elections might be a better situation there. But Sean, we for reals do got to go.
Okay, no, go get something to eat. Have a good night.
Thanks, Sean.
Good night.
That was the show, and I hope that we're all alive in 5 years. But at the same time, would it be so bad? What's so good about living? Get rid of the name tag, then fade to black. What's so good